Hello everyone, welcome! So, today I'm going to be streaming Particles of Reality, the demo. I believe it's out soon, I'm not sure when, but so the main game has already been out for a while, called Particles of Reality. And this is sort of the sequel, I believe, and it's called Particles of Reality Remembrance. But kind of the theme of this game is that it's really messed up in every single way, which many of you would know I absolutely adore. So this game is very much my cup of tea. But saying that, if you are not so fond of some of the more messed up themes and you're quite sensitive or there's certain things that really trigger you, then I would probably not recommend you play this, or to double check all the triggers, because fortunately this dev has included all the trigger warnings for all the things that appear because there's so much. But obviously I don't know, I don't want to kind of be like play it when there are things that make you uncomfortable. But yeah. Hi Nova, hi Adavani, welcome. Yeah, it does. Okay, it mutes. Good. But how has everyone been? Hi Seisara, welcome. Has everyone been playing otome games? I've been playing Hakuoki a little bit. Kyoto Wins, the first part. I bought the first game but haven't played it yet. Will the sequel stream have major spoilers? I'm not actually sure about that. Were you here for when I streamed the demo for the first one? Because if you were there, then you probably will be okay. I don't think it'll have... Actually, I don't know. That's a good point, especially because I've only played one route of the other game. Like the main one. Maybe I'll be playing and be like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh dear. I think if you're worried, I think you and I are sort of in the same boat, Nova, in that we only know... So after playing the demo, I did play a lot of Sebastian's endings, but I think there's like that bit with the weird people, and I think that focuses on the plot, like the main plot, right? But I haven't read any of that, so I think we're in the same boat in that if anything gets revealed, I will be just as surprised as you are. I did that blue head coup at his route. What's his name? Something. Oh, Saito? Saito-san? I can't remember his first name. But yeah, I'm here for the ride, so don't mind. Okay. I mean, I think because it's a demo, it's only a little bit, right? I'm hoping there isn't too many spoilers, but we shall find out, I suppose. I've been playing Okita Soji route, the brown-haired meanie. It's been fun so far. I kind of want to play his route so that I can then start playing 9 RIP, because I kind of want to get a video out for that before I leave for Japan. I mean, I have a whole month, so, but... But anyway, okay, let me start. Oh, here we go. Now, I'm going to read this out because it's quite important for those who have certain things that make them uncomfortable. This is a mature otome visual novel with violent, sexual, and triggering themes, plus infinite bad endings. None of the characters are mentally healthy. There is an excessive amount of violence and abuse. These boys may lie, cheat, manipulate... Oh, what a start. These boys may lie, cheat, manipulate, control, hurt, and otherwise abuse you. This game is not an accurate representation of anything, including mental illness and mythology. Unhealthy behaviors are romanticized. The content in this game is disturbing, in red. Hope is merely disappointment waiting to happen. Your discretion is required. By continuing, you acknowledge the advisement, agree to review the trigger warnings per route before playing, and will not be surprised when the content offends you. You know a game's gonna be good if they're spreading that all over. Welcome, Nenomi. I know, right? Okay, the demo content is on the lighter side in terms of horror, gore, and violence. Expect it to get much worse. Will this demo have more content later? Maybe to add some horror and gore for a proper representation of the full game, but it won't be much and there's no date estimate. Released to be... Okay, so it's in 2025 that the sequel will be released. So you have all got plenty of time to play around with the main game, which, by the way, can I find... I'll put it in the link of the... I'll put the link in the description of this video so that you can go and check it out. I've been playing one route and I've played some of another character. And yeah, it does get quite a yeah. Not... Okay, so... Let's see. Available in demo is Obsession, Abridged, Particles, Chapter 1, Remembrance, Common Root, Alexander, Ending 3. Oh, Alexander! Okay. Not available in demo, adults only content, Patreon excludes any other endings. Okay, the game content is under active development. There may be placeholder images, debug info, and tempt you. However, it is always expected to be stable and functional unless otherwise noted on update screen and or Patreon. Backwards compatibility is never guaranteed, but there are shortcuts to unlock stuff, so that's not a pain in the ass. All content is subject to change. So basically it's saying like there probably will be like some typos and some things that appear because, you know, it is a demo, but that's not going to be the case when the game is actually released, which I very much trust because I've been playing their main game and it's good quality, pretty good. Hi Raggedy, welcome! Okay, so this is kind of like, oh, trigger warnings, like the little symbols, what it means. Oh, I see. So this appears when a choice will change the ending eventually, which, may I say, this game is amazing in that it branches so early on. Like, you know how a lot of otome games, it's like, oh, it's just the same until like the very final 20% of the route. Well, this, it's like you'll be 30% in and already you're branching. So it's pretty cool. Okay. It's good to know. Click the one in top right chapter. This is all like basically the equivalent of trigger warnings. I like that they include this huggy bear thing for safe content, because when you play on the main game, you unlock what if and side stories, and I guess as like a break, if the story's getting a bit much, you can obviously read the safe, like happy fluffy content, which is nice. I'm in the car, so I'll be in and out of the stream, but thanks for the rec, Peachy. Okay, well, I'm happy that you popped by and said hi. That makes me happy. So, who are you? I am Monika Viotto. Bad things, including death, happen to the main character. I don't know. Oh, it does say that settings are relevant in demo. Okay, cool. Did you play Particles of Reality Obsession? What's that? I have played it, but I think some of us have not, so I'm gonna go with no. Okay. Trigger warnings for Obsession Abridged. I'm not gonna say them because this could be spoilers, but so if you want to read them right now, go ahead. I'll leave it here for a moment so you have a chance to. Basically everything, to be honest. And then bad things happen to the main character. This game is dark. If any of that is a problem, please exit. This is a mild version of this story. You have been warned. Click to continue. Hi, Risu. Welcome. Alright, Commander Lux, let's start from the beginning. How did this mess start? Yes, Head Counselor, my new protege, Guardian Quispy. Wasn't he the last pupil of the exiled Commander Alania? Yes, Head Counselor. Guardian Quispy sounds like crispy but with a lisp, alerted me to a strange disturbance in Alania's sector, which is now your sector, Commander. Yes, sir. Guardian Crispy reported an extreme abnormality where he observed reality clusters rapidly multiplying and self-terminating. Please, Commander, we both know that's impossible. New reality clusters are rare. Also, if you don't understand any of the lingo, then don't worry because I don't really understand it either. And I see a bug that needs to be eliminated. Oh god, what have I done? Okay. Sorry, if I see a bug, I have to eliminate it. I don't care. Unless it's something cute, in which case it gets the opportunity to go out the window. But anyway, that was also my response, Head Counselor. I fear the severity of the situation is extreme. I have been studying this cluster and it appears unstable. New reality clusters rarely form, Guardian Kispy. You must be referring to alternate realities. Were you not taught the differences? Yes, of course. A reality cluster is a unique universe. They could be literally anything, from a universe of intelligent unicorns to a sea world of little green mermaids, often called worlds for short. Me too, I kill it immediately, right? I just don't want any chance for them to breed somewhere. Correct. Within each world, there is a collection of alternate realities of that same world, commonly referred to as roots or paths. These are generated from the choices made by those within. A decision as simple as choosing between left or right can result in major differences in the timelines, even life or death. Very good. You remember your class as well, so you should know that roots are generated and terminated commonly, but new worlds forming is uncommon. Yes, I understand, but that's not the case here. Both are rapidly forming and ending at alarming rates, worlds and roots. Both? Rapidly? Yes, and the rate of reproduction is exceeding the rate of destruction, which seems to be rather random and abrupt. Impossible. An anomaly of that magnitude would have been sensed across realms and drawn the attention of even the ancestors themselves. That would be a Class 4 risk, perhaps even Class 5. Class 5 is the maximum, is that right? Yes, Class 5 is a level that threatens space and time as a whole. We should annihilate such a threat immediately. We cannot... I will need to analyze this situation myself. With such a minor sense of disturbance and your lack of proper training, you must have misunderstood something. I do not wish to disturb the Council with such trivialities or mistakes. Yes, Commander. Per protocol, I investigated the disturbance with Guardian Kispy. Hi Varga, welcome! Yeah, you managed to arrive only 10 minutes late. Yeah, and we literally just started the game, so... Hi Canity! I think I remember this game. It is. It's the disgustingly... a dramatic game. Lily just popping in. I'm preparing for plane tomorrow. Oh, you're going to Spain, of course. I hope you have fun, Canity. You'll be missed if you can't make my other streams. Tell me everything you two learned about this mortal in the reality cluster you investigated. Huh? Are you confused by the instruction? No, of course not, Head Counselor. The cluster self-destructed, so I didn't expect the details to be relevant. When we're discussing the possible manipulation of reality, all details are relevant. Commander Lux, especially if this girl is a source as you claim. Yes, Head Counselor. Oh, beep beep beep. Our subject was Monika Viotto, a standard human female who was living a complicated mortal life. 3 strikes on the snooze button, hun. Get up, I'm coming in there. I groaned and sat up, rubbing sleep from my eyes. My head hurt, my muscle ached, and my sinuses were stuffed. Crap, I can't be sick. Not sick, not sick, not sick. My body ached and I was drowsy from lack of sleep. I wanted to cry at the thought of starting a new day, repeating the indefinite cycle of misery. Hun, you up? Wakey, wakey. Everything appeared normal at first. She attended college with plans to advance into medical school while living with a roommate, Quinn. Quinn Noah Dida. Dida? I can't pronounce that. Anyway, on days without class, she worked at a local cafe. I lazily washed myself of the worst of my body odor and dressed before joining Quinn in the kitchen. I poured myself a cup of bitter coffee. My roommate offered me my favorite blueberry muffin, which I gratefully took and nearly swallowed whole.
Ooh, kinky.
Oh my god, they've added voice acting! Oh my god. I'm kind of like, I'm like, what? I didn't expect it. In the main game, I don't think there's any voice acting. Not that I've noticed anyway. Ooh. Oh, that's weird. Oh, I don't know why I'm so like excited about it, but okay. No soundtrack on this scene. I think the ethereal scenes. Note that this is a demo, so it's not its perfect form. I can't remember if there was music in that scene in the previous one. I'm not sure. Wish you'd something me like that muffin, hun. For those who don't know what that means, you don't need to know. Oh my god. I thought this was all like gonna be a bit more sensitive, you know what I mean? Okay. Don't you have people lined up for that kind of thing? There's a reserved spot for you at the top of that list. I sighed before erupting into a coughing fit. When I'd agreed to room with Quinn, I had wrongly assumed he was female. His advancements had started subtly. I would never admit that a part of me enjoyed the attention. Dating a roommate seemed like a disaster waiting to happen, so I'd drawn that line in the sand. In fact, let me see if I can change the stream to... I don't think it's going to have anything necessarily explicit here, but I want to make sure that if it's possible, I want to make it 18 plus. Okay, once I finish streaming, I'm going to change this to an 18 plus VOD. Just, I think it's fine, but you know, it's better safe than sorry. Just certain words, if you know what I mean. Okay. Let me change that. Awesome. I sighed before erupting into a coughing fit.
Are you okay?
You're sick again? Don't forget the cold meds so people don't get mad that you're coughing in their food again. He kindly handed me some over-the-counter cold medication, and I downed twice the recommended dosage before shoving the bottle in my raggedy shoulder bag. You're a workaholic, hun. If you don't take a break and have some fun, you're gonna drop dead. I left the apartment with a dismissive wave, not having time to repeat this argument. I walked to my dead-end job at Cafe Luna. It was near the college campus, so thankfully I never had to bother with bus tickets or car payments. The cafe had just opened as I arrived, but business would be slow for another hour before the morning rush. Julian stood near the register smoking. That meant the manager was not in yet.
Are you okay?
Yo, you okay? You look awful. Imagine if you walk into work and that's the first thing someone says to you. Thanks. Her co-worker was a man named Julian Andre, who also attended the local college while working at the same location. Julian seemed a bit vulgar and mean, but nothing abnormal for a human male. Funny. Julian chuckled while prepping for the looming crowd. He wore his branded apron and was refilling various containers of sugars and creamers. I began putting fresh pastries in the display case. Seriously though, you look like death. You should go back home. I need the pay. I can't take time off. I worry about you sometimes. I looked over at him, surprised, doubting he meant for me to hear those words. He sputtered a couple of times before babbling nervously.
Obviously.
I just don't want to clean up the mess you'll make when you collapse. You'll hit your head on a counter and get blood everywhere, you know. That's his way of saying I'm worried about you. I rolled my eyes as I tied up my hair and put on my matching ugly apron. Such a good friend. I'm so curious about this customer. He's so cute and like, I don't know if he's a love interest or not. Hi, what can I get you?
Coffee. Black.
Oh, Monika worked while attending school to avoid a difficult home environment. Her mother, Luciana, was extremely abusive and controlling. On many occasions as a child and teen, Monika ended up in the hospital because of her mother. It was traumatic and severe. Her abuse included numerous occasions where she was locked away in places like closets and car trunks. This resulted in her having phobias of the dark and confined spaces. Surprisingly, we later learned her mother was a mafia crime lord. Monika also saw a great deal of violence and death growing up as well. This poor girl had... Poor girl? The issues of mortals are of no concern to us, Commander Lux. Interfering is strictly forbidden. Our job is so ensure existence itself is stable. Humans are a speck of dust in comparison. Yes, sir, I am aware. I'll move on to the next person of interest. Oh, rain noise. A double shift later, I walked home alone. Julian had offered to accompany me, but I refused. I was exhausted, sweating and shivering simultaneously. I had a migraine throbbing so hard it made my vision blurry while I struggled to breathe without pain. Only a few functional streetlights lit my way home. The darkness made me anxious. My thoughts were a jumbled mix of the day's crappy customers, the classwork still waiting for me, and if there was anything to eat in my fridge. Did I eat at all today? It rained steadily, my shoes and socks were soaked, my body was freezing, but my head felt hot to the touch. I was both angry and sad that I was getting ill again. I didn't have the time, money, or energy to deal with the flu. I missed my childhood days when my older brother would dote over me when I was sick, one of the few times he would spend a lot of time with me. I could hear cars speeding through puddles of water on the road and heard a horn honk in the distance. Hey, stop! Cute CG. I think this is by this is actually the artist who drew my profile picture, which is really sweet. Right as I stepped into a deep puddle at a crosswalk, someone large and strong grabbed my upper arm and yanked me backwards. As I fell and landed against his chest, I saw a car speed by right where I was standing only a moment ago. Muddy water splashed over both of us. But yeah, she's called Lavendel, I think. Just a little plug there for her because I really do like my profile picture. A trembling arm wrapped around my waist and a chin rested on top of my head. He was breathing heavily as if he sprinted to me. We later learned this man was Sebastian Della Rosa, heir to the technology empire Della Rosa Incorporated and second son of the largest mafia family in the United States.
No. Please, no.
Are you trying to kill yourself? You can't leave me like that. I was too stunned to speak. I heard my heart pounding over the headache. The stranger was furious, yet holding me tightly and shaking with fear. What did he mean by you can't leave me like that? He didn't let go until I pulled myself away. Cautiously, he allowed me to stand on my own 2 feet, then took my hand and held it after I turned around. He was afraid to let me go. I was too shocked by the realization I nearly became roadkill to be concerned about his dramatic behavior. Wow, I almost died. Thank you.
You're safe with me.
I'll never let anything happen to you. You're safe now. Once we met Sebastian Della Rosa, things slowly went downhill. He was not only obsessed, but quite strange. That's a nice way to put it.
Angel.
Of course. I doubt you can make any decision while you're so stressed and tired, Angel. Did you think about my other offer?
Sweetheart.
It's exhausting, depressing, but not anymore. Not with me, no. You can be honest with me, sweetheart. I see the real you and I love you.
Buttercup.
Buttercup. I love how they've done the voice acting for his pet names for her. It's okay, you're safe with me, Buttercup. I'd never let anyone or anything hurt you. You can tell that he's a bit much, but that's what's so great about him.
Sunshine.
I don't mind that you're busy, Sunshine. I won't make demands on your time. Just being around you is all I want. Just being around is all I want. I love characters like this.
Pumpkin.
We can chat more when I return, Pumpkin. It's a long drive and I want him home before he wakes. I love you. We weren't the only ones who noticed. Sebastian is your favorite so far? Yeah, I think he's my favorite out of... I don't know. So I met his brother Alexander a little bit in his route. And I must say, like, looks-wise, I prefer Sebastian. But personality-wise, I think I prefer Alexander. Julian is the second route, and I'm like the one I'm currently playing, and I like his character, but I don't find him attractive. But it could just be that he's not really my type looks-wise more than anything else. But he's a really... Just spilled my wine everywhere. Be right back. Okay, right, now my desk smells of wine everywhere, which I guess at least I don't mind the smell of wine, but... Hi Marianne, welcome! It's just me, it doesn't really... Hi Lenny, welcome! Ooh, Labor Day! I know very little of the American festivities. Okay, so we weren't the only ones who noticed.
I don't like him.
That guy, are you into him? Huh? Jeez, Julian, seriously? It's none of your business. He's creepy. I don't want him around you. We need to do something about him. Oh, God. It's so true, though. So I wanted to ask something, but I'm afraid it is about a certain in-real cat. Oh, yeah, he's okay. He came back. Actually, no. So my parents thought he had left and not come back. Turns out he was sleeping in the closet. My mum didn't realise that he was in there and closed this closet. And she opened it and he's like sleeping there casually. Maybe more wine, love. So yeah, no, he's fine. Creepy. Jeez, Julian. Fine. What makes him so creepy?
But...
I didn't mention it, but before you got sick, I saw him around here a lot, watching you. And this morning, he was staring at you like you were a meal. Like, constantly. He looked annoyed every time I talked to you. There's something really off about him. And it's not weird you were watching him to notice all those things and never told me. Nope, perfectly normal.
Why?
And the pet names? What the hell? How many did he use? Sunshine, Sugar, Sweetheart, Buttercup, Pumpkin. That's just what I remember off the top of my head. Princess, Love, Darling, Dove. I've been called pet names by customers before, and sometimes I use names like that too. A dozen of them in the same hour? Is this relevant? Well, no, it was just something that bothered me. Moving on. I like this Lux being. After Sebastian saved her from the car, she passed out due to her worsening illness. Sebastian, instead of taking her home or to a hospital like a typical human would, took her back to his apartment. She passed out due to a minor illness. That seems unusual. There is more to that story, but it's not really relevant to the topic at hand. I'm summarizing. Ah, my curiosity got the better of me. Continue. Monika remained at Sebastian's home for multiple days, in and out of consciousness. I woke with a coughing fit in a strange, unfamiliar room. A window was cracked open, the lamps were on but dimmed. A glass of water sat on the nightstand. Hello? Trying to talk sent me into another coughing fit. My voice barely came out as a whisper. I was drenched in sweat and the sheets stuck to my body. I rolled over with great effort and took the water glass in my hand, but as soon as I lifted it off the table, it fell to the floor and shattered, water spilling everywhere. Ugh. I felt compelled to clean the mess. I struggled to sit up, but dizziness hit me like a truck. I heard the door behind me open before I passed out again. The second time I woke in the middle of the night, the first thing I saw was a large plastic cup of water that replaced the glass one. I'm really hoping it doesn't show this very graphic CG. I'm a bit worried now. Maybe I'll close it briefly. And then I will go through it and then give you info on what the flashback is. Basically, he's there like hugging her. And it's basically like portraying her waking up and sleeping, waking up and sleeping and being drowsy and all of that. Oh yeah, he washed her while she was asleep, which is really weird because they don't really know each other very well. For US Labor Day, we usually do a barbecue. That sounds really nice, actually. Oh, thank God, yeah. Oh, hey, Astro, welcome. I don't know anything about this game, but I can finally watch a Peach stream because of the holiday. I'm so glad you could come. Yeah, I'm describing it, don't worry. So my body screamed for more sleep, but my bladder protested, so that's happened. And she goes to the door and it's stuck. Basically, he's locked her in. And then he's like, oh, hey, are you okay? Okay, let me turn it back on just because I feel like it's okay. It won't show that CG. Oh, God. I swear this always happens to me when I fiddle around with any Rempy game. It kind of like... You know what? I think we don't need the recap anyway. I think you've gotten the whole picture there. Basically, there was this nut job of a love interest and things went wrong. Right, okay. Okay, so this is chapter 1 of... Oh. Players who completed Obsession can start here. Obsession is the main game, by the way, which I have only completed one route of, so this could be interesting, but... Outside of space and time, the Guardians of Reality detected a dangerous anomaly. This anomaly is you. Reality is being manipulated by external forces of forbidden act. Worlds and paths are flickering in and out of existence. Unprecedented behavior. A strange man retains memory between worlds. Impossible for a mortal. Will the Guardians have to destroy your reality cluster to protect all of space-time? What have you done? Okay, we'll play this. And then we'll play the remembrance part. Okay, Commander Lux, I have heard enough of your stories for one evening. Even if these tales you proposed have some truth to them, all of them are explainable situations. Reality does not jump, but time travel is a common ability in your sector. Bad things happen, sometimes frequently. The savageness of events is irrelevant to us. And more certainly of all, the fact you have brought up a cat with eyes that change colours, the biggest waste of my time I have ever experienced. Oh yeah, there's this cat with eyes that change, and it's like a little mascot character. I don't know the purpose of that cat because I haven't played the entire game, but he appears in every route. You saw the Nintendo Direct. Sims is back. Oh, is that the My Sims? I heard someone say that My Sims is back. There's loads of Otome games being released, but Nintendo Direct doesn't cover it. I'm seriously questioning your judgment and reconsidering your position as a commander for your repeated disobedience of direct orders. I demand an audience with the full Council of Elders. So you can waste more. I have the right per our protocols to schedule a session with the Council at any time as a commander. I'm invoking it now. If you refuse, I will go straight to the Cabinet of Ascendants for this flagrant abuse of power. Very well. Commander Lux and Guardian Kisby, the Council of Elders has reviewed and discussed your documents and reports. Council members have some questions for you. Oh yeah, I heard about that. The date, everything. I am actually quite curious about it, were it not for my never-ending backlog. You disobeyed a direct order from the head councillor to drop this matter. As you know, disobedience of a direct order from the council is firmly against our protocols. That alone could have your title stripped. Explain yourself. Please allow me to clarify. I was specifically instructed to dismiss the matter entirely and that the council was already aware of the situation. That was my full intent at the time. Yes, you returned to the sector. Yes, Councillor, because my protégé was inexperienced, and perhaps due to some other past influences, he had doubts about the orders in the process. I decided to return for his education. Given the specifics of the order, this was not disobedience. I see, Head Councillor. To what is she referring? I am unaware of any abnormalities in any sector. We are discussing the sector that was once managed by the banished Alania. That sector is still under moderation. So your statement was not regarding the raised anomaly, but the ongoing moderation process after a realm has been mishandled? Yes. That is not protocol, Head Councillor. They care a lot about protocol. Date your lamp, your bathtub, lol. What do you mean by Sims is back? Hopefully just items in the game, lol. No. Oh my god, imagine. I think My Sims is back or something like that. As discussed, these claims are absurd and worthy of being dismissed. I had no interest in wasting time. If the commander's claims are true, the ancestors themselves would sense such a disturbance. Need I remind everyone of our purpose? To enforce the protocols and execute the decrees of the Ascendants. You need not. We are all well aware of our duties. I can understand the hesitation regarding these claims. It does bring into question the commander's judgment, especially considering Kisby was Alania's student. We are in somewhat uncharted territory with Alania in this situation, I admit. The number of commanders banished in all of our history is single digits. No others have occurred in my lifetime. Did Commander Lax have any relationship with Alania? No, not even during education. Lux was... Enough, all of you. Councillor, there is no need. There absolutely is need. All of you are speaking absolute nonsense and it infuriates me. The protocols are clear. Oh, protocols again. The protocols do not consider the external factors in this because they are not to be considered. Need I remind everyone that the cabinet wrote these protocols with the ancestors themselves? The protocols are sacred. If there are concerns they lack in an area, we are to raise them to the cabinet. It is not our place to interpret the rules. It is our place to enforce them as they are. Finally. I think that is quite excessive. Then we will interrupt the cabinet immediately to have this conversation with their input. Oh my god, this is... Calm down. There is no need for raised voices in this room. While I do understand the head counselor's considerations, there's no argument regarding the protocol. I also have strong doubts. I feel like I'm at work at the moment. Hi, Brittany. Welcome. I also have strong doubts about the head counselor's judgment. I do not understand these considerations that completely contradict our rules. I must agree with that. It is concerning. Very well. Is there a third vote for escalation? I concur. Acknowledged. We will discuss this matter in private after the issue is resolved and raise it to the cabinet if there is a majority vote. You must be joking. I have served on this council. Your service is respected, head councillor, but these are the protocols. I don't know why I keep on finding it funny that they keep on mentioning protocol. How dare you question me? I have led this council since before some of you were out of schooling. You must be joking. Your service time and leadership experience are not factors in the protocols, nor does it give you the right to overrule them. Your objection to this process raises my concerns even further. Agreed. Let us resolve the commander's problem first and not waste her time. I am also skeptical of the severity of these claims. Never before has a Class 4 or Class 5 anomaly gone undetected. But the fact that it is unlikely does not warrant dismissal, because if we are wrong, it could mean all of existence is destroyed. That said, all life is precious. Our ancestors have proven that time and again. That is the reason Alania was banished and not executed. We cannot destroy an entire sector of life based on mere suspicion, so I cannot approve a termination order either. Containment is an option. You know, I don't actually know what... This is all like the alternate reality, like different universes kind of thing, isn't it? Meetings being the worst. I hate meetings, I really do. To them all. But that is quite an effort given so little evidence. My suggestion is Commander Lux and Guardian Kisby return to that sector and investigate the matter further. So she can bring us more stories about cats and time travel? This is a complete waste of time. We have time to waste when it jeopardizes life, head counselor. Commander Lux can continue having her duties covered by her peers, as there are no pressing matters for her attention. Agreed. I do not think it is wise to make a significant decision without more information. What are your thoughts, Commander Lux? I think that is a reasonable compromise. Thank you. This is maddening. When did the council deteriorate so dramatically that we entertain children's stories? If you wish to raise the question of our suitability on the council, you can do so in our meeting with the cabinet, where we follow the protocol. This VN is really well. It's giving text around. I think it's because this part is sort of like the background lore. It hasn't really gotten to the otome part yet, really. Business seminars too. So what I think has happened is Lux, the pretty ethereal being, had been, looking over the main character in the previous game, because this is a sequel, and, the whole, oh, she dies in this, but then she comes back and things repeat, and it's like disruptions in that world. And then, so Lux brings this information back to these ethereal beings, and I guess now they're discussing it. So that's kind of this is more the, I don't know. Yeah. That is your right, as it is mine. Enough, threats are childish. We all know the protocols and shall abide by them. Any councillor may submit a request to the cabinet at any time for any reason. Stop whining about it and just do it. This is getting out of hand. I will not... I have served nearly as long as the head councillor himself, and I have never seen such immature bickering in my life. You two disgrace the council, and I am embarrassed for a respected commander to witness this behaviour. Yes, I am. Concerned about many things. This new conflict among us since Alania's banishment is exhausting. There is nothing to argue in this case. Protocols will be followed as they must. Commander, you may go before we humiliate ourselves further. Please submit regular reports as the situation develops, per protocol, as always. Commander, thank you for your dedication and commitment to seeing the protocols followed despite adversity. Agreed, you'll be my first choice for the next opening on the council. Oh, thank you, Councillor. That is an amazing honour. Not if I have anything to say about it. I've had enough. The Council of Elders will reconvene in our next meeting with the Cabinet of Ascendants. Everyone is dismissed. Wow, that was something. This feels like both a nightmare and a dream. The head councillor's behaviour is baffling, so much so that I wonder if he is unwell. Although I wish no one harm, that would be a comforting explanation. All of this is so strange, but the council's orders are clear and reasonable, and Kisby, I hope this is teaching you a valuable lesson. Even when things go poorly, our system can be trusted to do the right thing at the end. I'm sorry, Commander, but if that were true, I don't think Alanya would have been banished. The cabinet was not involved in that decision. I fear the head councillor was coercive in her judgment. She didn't have someone like you to stand up for her rights. Well, I think we need to focus on the matter at hand first, but the good news is there are protocols for implementing new protocols. Oh god, it's making these like ethereal beings feel kind of cute. If they say protocol one more time. Oh dear, I like these ethereal beings, they make me laugh. It is reasonable to submit. You're right, we could do a drinking game of the number of times these people say protocol. It is reasonable to submit a new protocol request for the cabinet to approve a banishment in addition to the council. Such a thing happens so rarely that it would cause no additional burden and would ensure an extra safeguard for our most extreme punishment. Honestly, it's a pretty good idea, especially given what I just witnessed. Yeah, I think we should do that. I'll have someone prepare that paperwork for us while we are gone. Okay, so, I guess we're going back. I don't know what kind of evidence we can find to prove this problem. I have no idea either, but we will search until we find something undeniable. Let's prepare to return. Yes, Commander. I am sorry for everything. I dragged you into the middle of this mess. You risked everything to fight this. No, you did exactly what you should have done as a guardian. You followed protocol. None of this is your fault. Oh my god, I don't know. I find it kind of cute. I would die of liver failure, I'm afraid. I get this gaming knowledge from my hubby. Aww, love the reading. Oh, okay, so that's that bit. And now we read this. Oh, that's Alexander, by the way. Okay, so this is the common route of the sequel. Ugh, come on. And this is what I like to call the more fun part of the game. I shifted my heavy backpack to stay balanced as I fished my phone from my pocket. I bumped into the tool handle of the rolling suitcase at my side and grabbed it quickly before it toppled over. The line for checking in was a mile long. It felt like I'd been waiting for hours. Now, boarding flight number. What is this place, Commander? It's called an airport. Humans use these large metal machines to fly long distance quickly. Oh wow, that sounds fascinating. It's basic human technology, Kisby. Once this mess is over, we must focus on your realm and cultural education. Yes, Commander. Hello? Monika, have you boarded yet? Oh, she's friends with Vanessa. Interesting. Sorry, Vanessa's a character that does crop up once so far I've played, so I'm very intrigued that they're friends. Damn it, that was no, if that was the demo, it would be doing such an injustice to the game. Monika, have you boarded yet? Not yet, Vanessa. I haven't even checked in. I'm in line now. It's so long. Oh, good. I was afraid I'd miss saying goodbye to my favorite sister. Your only sister. Both can be true. Oh, okay. I must confess, I'm relieved to say this is a lot of spoilers for me as well. But it's fine, I'm not that bothered. I must confess, I'm relieved to see she's not related to Brandon in this reality. Oh, right, they're different realities. Right, yeah, okay. I must agree, that was uncomfortable in so many ways. I haven't seen any sign of any of the others yet, have you? No, not yet. I don't see the cat either. It's just a cat, Kisby. Let it go. I know it bugs you too, or do you want to make a bet that it's involved? This is not a game, Guardian. This is your job. Focus. I still can't believe that place forbids calls to family. What kind of a ridiculous employment policy is that? I'd recently been hired for my dream job as a supernatural research scientist with the government. The pay and benefits were far too incredible to refuse, but it came with a lot of negatives too. The top ones being I had to relocate to their private facility in another country and could only have highly restricted and monitored contact with the outside world. I spent 3 months obtaining top secret security clearance with the government for this job, which is apparently surprisingly fast according to my liaison. Well, it is the government, I guess. They make the rules. You're not even working inside the United States. Is Mom even going to see us for Christmas? Honestly, I'm not sure, but I'm glad you'll be there with me. Through my negotiations, I was also able to get my half-sister a job there as a researcher. Vanessa took an interest in the supernatural along with me after my childhood car accident, which was when I started sensing unexplainable things and seeing brief glimpses of what I could only describe as cracks in reality. Yeah, the main character comes from a completely different background compared to the main game, so this is interesting. I guess it's a different world. Hi, what is this game about? Just came here. Hi, Carolina, welcome. So this game is basically every red flag trope you can think of and trigger warning you can think of thrown in a game. But yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It basically follows this girl and then like the character she's in love with, but they're like different realities, and I don't actually know like the serious plot, but it's sort of like an R18 game. I'm playing this as like non-R18. I think it's a demo, so it doesn't show any of the mature content anyway. But it is very much like, yeah, crazy. Just craziness in a game. I think after I've played the main game, I'll make a review on it. I don't even know what the game is about. I'm just here for Peach. Supernatural scientific research for the government. It sounds very like, I don't know, very sci-fi, doesn't it? Which is when I started sensing unexplainable things and seeing brief glimpses of what I could only describe as cracks in reality. Mum's not, honestly. She's been crying ever since she found out I got the job. Mum's being dramatic. It's not a prison. We'll be able to visit her. And communication isn't forbidden. It's just restricted and monitored. Given the nature of the work, that's not really surprising. After all, what would taxpayers think if they learned billions of dollars in funding were going to investigate magic and alternate realities? They'd have the president's head on a platter and the project would be shut down immediately. I suspected it took a lot of creative bookkeeping and layers of obfuscation through military sub-projects to bury the existence of this project. I know, I told her worst case we could probably get her visitor's pass to come see us. I don't know, maybe. There might be a lot of hoops to jump through for that. Well, I had to say something. She was crying and blaming herself for breaking your brain again. Our mother didn't believe in any of this nonsense. She blamed herself for the car accident that put me in a coma when I was 5 years old. It wasn't her fault. A drunk driver drove directly into the passenger car door where I was sitting. I'd unbuckled my seatbelt to reach for a toy without her noticing. Oh. Regardless, she blamed herself, insisting if only we hadn't gone out that day, if only she hadn't missed that turn, if only she had dropped me off with my father, then I would be normal. I didn't want to be normal. You'd think the paycheck alone would convince her it's a good thing. I'll be able to retire in my 40s with this salary. I know, I keep staring at the number on my offer letter in shock. I know mine isn't as high as yours, but it's way more than I ever dreamed I would make. Be right back. Okay. We shared a laugh as I stepped forward in line. It was a struggle to balance the phone with my luggage. Honestly, I should just send her some money after my first paycheck. We'll be able to pay off the house in a few months. Jesus, that's some serious salary. That's a good idea. I'd like to make sure Mum is okay. Oh, this is nice. Monika has a good relationship with her family here. I am truly surprised. I was prepared for the worst after everything. Was the head counselor right? Did we overreact about a statistical anomaly? Was the last reality a very long string of horrifically bad luck? If it was, I'll have to apologize or grovel more likely. Ugh. I'm still skeptical, Commander. Regardless of the events within the last reality, there's still the issue of new realities rapidly being created and terminated. Also, don't forget about the glitches we repeatedly observed. Surely it's all related somehow. Yeah, in the previous one, there would occasionally be repeats of certain scenes, like certain things that have happened in Monika's life, where you'd be like, but I just read that, and that would be kind of part of it, like there are glitches in the world. I'm not sure of anything right now. Despite our mother's dramatics and a challenging upbringing as a single mum raising 2 daughters while bordering on poverty, she was a wonderful parent to us both. Again, this Monika is completely different from the one in the main game. In the main game, she's the daughter of a mafia, and she experienced some really horrible things. Whereas this, it's like, oh, she seems to be in a happy family. We were extremely close, so I did understand why she was so upset. I was going to miss her too. Yes, me too. After I got a few paychecks, she'll never have to work again. Oh, maybe we could buy her cruise vacation. She's always wanted to do that. Maybe she could meet a nice guy there. Ooh, that'd be nice for her. That's brilliant. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, look over there, Commander Lux. I recognize her. Excuse me, are you Monika Viotto? I recognize her too, but I'm not sure why. I turned to see a pretty older woman in stylish attire approaching. She was overdressed for the airport. I smiled and nodded. I am. Who are you? Oh, I'm Gabriella, your liaison. Nice to meet you face to face. I remember now. She was a triplet's mother. In that reality, yes, but even parents can change between realities. Don't assume any relationships based on our previous experiences. So for anyone who's played Amnesia Memories, I think this is like that, where in each playthrough, all the characters are different, you know, like they play different roles. Hey Keiki, welcome! Even the twins? Odds are they would still be twins, but it's possible. One could be a clone instead of a brother, for example. Oh, poor Victor. That must be so disorientating. I blinked in surprise. I was expecting to check in my bags, get a ticket printed, and board a coach flight to Spain alone. I had no idea she'd be meeting me. Vanessa, I gotta go. I'll call you as soon as I can. Okay, have a safe flight. I hung up my cell phone and smiled at the older woman. Yes, nice to meet you too. I wasn't expecting to meet you at the airport. I know, I'm sorry for the sudden change of plans, but it's part of the security protocol. Huh? You're not going to Spain, and I'm afraid you won't be able to call anyone for at least a few weeks once you're on the plane. You're welcome to text them goodbye before I confiscate your phone. Oh, Jesus. Confiscate? She smiled sadly and nodded. Sorry, I know this is scary and strange, but those are the rules. A knot formed in my stomach. This suddenly felt off. I wasn't expecting to meet her here. I wasn't expecting to give up my device yet. I'd need to see papers. I couldn't just believe her and then give my phone. I promised Mother I'd call her when I landed. I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. I could text her now, but she would still worry and not hear from me for weeks. I looked down at the phone I would have to surrender and probably never see again, or at least not for years. The reality of this huge change suddenly hit me. I was leaving my entire life for this job, my mother, my friends, my hometown, for something that seemed way too good to be true. But this was my career, my life's work, everything I'd worked so hard to achieve. I started to second guess my acceptance of this job. Whatever future I chose, I knew Vanessa would support me and follow. What should I do? I guess if I give up the job, it's like, oh, ending. Why don't we save and see what happens? Okay, so I'm gonna give up the job and see what happens. I shook my head and slipped my phone back into my pocket, then gripped the handle of my suitcase. This felt wrong and I trusted my instincts. They had not failed me yet. I was afraid I was missing out on an incredible opportunity, but the risk and sacrifice felt too large now. I'm sorry for this, Gabriella. I really am, but I don't think I can do this. I can't accept this position. I'm really sorry. Oh, but Monika... Without waiting for a response, I turned and left the airport. Now, I have the first game in my wish list and haven't played it, will this spoil stuff for me since it's a sequel? I don't think it will, because so far, like, the world has been completely different. Like, the main character's got the same sprite and is technically the same person, but her upbringing is completely different, for example. Was the old demo? The old demo was really fun too. In fact, I did a let's play of it. It's somewhere in my playlists, I think. The main game for this is the one that I've been playing recently. Oh, well, that was unexpected. Yes, I admit I'm pleased to see her being sensible for a change, but I don't see much reason to waste our time following this choice. It could be years before anything irrelevant happens. The job seems much more suspicious, so let's jump into a different branch, follow that path. Yeah, I agree. We could always return here if needed. Yeah, let's go. Many years later, I think this is one of the endings, by the way, I think, because, I mean, I did pick the purposely, clearly, it's going to be ending one. I held a warm cup of coffee in my hands and stepped out onto the porch of my tiny cabin in the woods. The sun was just beginning to break over the treetops, coating the sky in beautiful shades of orange and yellow. I sat down on the old wooden rocking chair with a content sigh and sipped the warm liquid that was quickly cooling in the chilly fall weather. How many years has it been? I sensed his presence arrive inside my house. He materialized through whatever sci-fi technology he'd created. I knew he'd find me eventually, but I was surprised how long it took him. I suppose in every reality there was one version where he had to carry out the hunt. In another reality he'd take advantage of his newfound knowledge and kill me much sooner. Oh, okay. Who is it? Oh. This guy, who is he? Interesting. Enjoy your happy ending. I glanced up as he stepped up to me with a soft smile, then my lips parted in surprise. He hadn't aged a day. Time travel too? That unique little gem can do some wonders with some elbow grease, but it's nearly impossible to control, and let's not forget the trouble I had to go through to find you again. Ah, so that was the reason he didn't come sooner. Imagine what you could do for the world if you used that brilliant brain of yours for good. Which world? His hissed words were laced with venom. I offered a sad smile. I understood the suffering, rage, and madness that burned within him. But I also knew that he was a victim just as much as me, so I don't know who this guy is at all. I think he might be like a character in the main game, that you sort of see him occasionally pop up. Oh, I see. That's interesting that they decide to go with like an alternate universe for the same. So the entire game seems to be about different realities and different worlds and how they change depending on your decisions and all that. Oh, hi Cassie, welcome. But yeah, so that's kind of why. I mean, I haven't completed the main game at all, so some of this I'm like, what happened? But I thought, I'd play the demo. Although one of the many things I'd never figured out was why he got wrapped up in this mess in the first place. I pitied him greatly. Well, to answer your question, yes, it was a lovely, peaceful life. I had a career, a partner, a daughter, everything a normal girl would want. Victor had been chasing me my entire life, which was why I was alone now. We'd even come face to face a couple of times over the years. He captured me once, but I eluded him before he could transport me to that enigmatic facility where I'd nearly worked all those years ago. I knew my clock was running out. The chances that I'd die of old age were minuscule. I had tested my luck too many times already. I've always wondered, Victor, why did you never pursue my daughter as a hostage? I was terrified of that for a good 20 years. I never told her about any of this. I wanted her to have the normal life that was so precious to me. To my great surprise, she did. Victor hesitated and looked away, a flicker of sadness in his eyes. I know her well from another place. It's not fair to involve her in this mess. This is between you and me. Ah, I see. Well, thank you for your kindness.
You must know something.
It's not kindness, I promise to repeat. Are you finally going to tell me what you know? It took decades, but fragments of memories did eventually grow in my mind. If it weren't for Victor, I would have easily dismissed them as strange dreams and forgotten them all. But those dreams began to connect to Victor's accusations. They were confusing and I didn't understand most of the particles of knowledge that had trickled into my memories. It was clear I was missing important details Victor was so desperate to learn. But I now knew about the other realities through Victor's rantings about his loops, and I had learned my place in this particular reality. The sole reason I escaped his kidnapping attempt was by discovering my own capabilities, but I also knew these two things were unrelated, so this guy keeps on kidnapping her apparently, in like the other realities, so to speak. This madness had been going on in other realities, so my unique circumstances in this place were irrelevant, right? Is there any point to this conversation? You wouldn't believe anything I say unless it confirmed all your suspicions. You've lived your life. What reason would you have to help me now? Why would I do this to us? To them?
Is this hell?
I'd like to know that myself. The thought that this is simply hell has repeatedly crossed my mind. Surely I deserve to know why I'm being punished. I sighed and sipped my coffee again. As I suspected, this was pointless. The madness had driven him beyond logic and reason a long time ago. I couldn't fathom his mental state. No one possibly could. The fact that he wasn't a raging lunatic was impressive. I'm sorry, I can't help you. That's the interesting part. In this place, I think you can. Why is that? Why do I need to explain this? I saw how you escaped with my own eyes. You're not a powerless, weak little girl here. I connected the dots, Monika. I'm sorry. Whatever dots you have connected are unseen to me. Oh. Oh, okay. Looks like we may die in this lifetime as well. Hi, Liz. Welcome. You keep getting kidnapped. Sounds like fun. Oh, I thought this would be the we escaped ending, but I guess not. He scowled, eyes narrowed, suspicious of my claim, but uncertain of its plausible validity. After a moment of consideration, he sighed, glared, and raised his arm. I looked up at the barrel of the gun.
Again and again and again.
It doesn't matter. I'm tired of waiting around here, wasting my time. I'll just have to try again and again and again. I suppose so. I wish you nothing but luck and peace. Sooner or later, I will succeed. I hope so. But I heard the doubt in his voice, and then the gunshot. Okay, return to previous choice. Thank you. I'm so curious who that... Yeah, we are the old lady. That was the result of me picking give up the job, and then she manages to get old, but then gets killed by that guy. This is a sequel, so a lot of it I'm like, so I still haven't like completely played the first game, so a lot of this is a bit confusing for me as well, to be honest, but I'm kind of doing this for the fun of it with you guys as well. And hopefully some people who watch this have already played the main game, so they can use this as like a fun kind of decision-making thing. Okay, give up the phone. I wanted this job. I needed this job. Even if it seemed too good to be true, I would wonder for the rest of my life what I missed out on if I walked away. I was contractually obligated to follow these rules to keep the job. Gabriella had made that clear during our exchanges. I wouldn't turn back now. The papers had been signed. So I'm guessing that guy is maybe part of this government organization. Right, okay. I texted Vanessa and Mother an update. Gabriella looked over my shoulder as I typed. Once I'd sent the message, I handed the phone to her. She smiled gratefully and accepted the device. Is it like Tempest? Not really. It's different. Like, it's more messed up than... I'm guessing by Tempest you're talking about Even if Tempest. Thank you for cooperating again. I know how unpleasant this is, and I'm sorry. I think it's a bit extreme too. I kind of see where you're coming now. In that she dies, and then she's in another reality. She doesn't retain any memories, though. All that because we give up the job. So we gave up this dodgy job, and that's why we managed to survive until we're, like, old. I think with this decision, we're gonna get, like, kidnapped and trapped somewhere, and I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen, but... if I'm not going to Spain, Sorry, I'm not allowed to say, but I assure you it's an enormous facility with all the comforts of home as we've discussed. You reviewed the brochure I sent, yes? Yeah. It looked like a normal city for the most part. The technology in use was fairly advanced, but nothing shocking. Great, let's get you on that plane. Takeoff is in 10 minutes. 10? I haven't gotten my ticket or checked my bags. She chuckled softly and waved her hand dismissively. Dear, you don't have to worry about any of that. We're taking a private plane. Oh, okay. Well, that seems suspicious. Yes, but I doubt there are many humans who would refuse the money she was offered for this job. Oh, what is money? Jeez, Kispy. Kispy's kind of adorable. Wake up, hun. We're here. I stirred in my seat and rubbed my eyes as the overhead lights on the plane grew brighter. The fasten seatbelt sign was on and the pilot was talking about the local weather over the announcement system. Gabriella smiled at me and nodded towards the window. Ooh, pretty. I turned and was stunned to see a large, sprawling city in the middle of a thick forest that spanned for miles in every direction. There was no signs of civilization anywhere outside the city, no power poles and no highways. It was completely isolated. Wow. I know it doesn't look like much, but personally I love the lack of skyscrapers and traffic jams. I never got any sun in the city. It doesn't even look like there are roads. There are, but they are all small. It's hard to see around the trees and buildings. The streets are like suburbs, often single lanes. Everyone gets around by walking. The city is designed for that. I adore it. No more running to the gym after work because I don't spend all day sitting on my butt. I smiled at her cheerful laugh. It was nice to see her boast about the place. I'd been quite nervous of bait and switch, but she genuinely seemed to love it. There was a gym though. It even has an indoor pool, and we have coffee shops, grocery stores, all that stuff. In a few days you'll completely forget we're all hidden away. You mentioned I'd get an apartment. Where is that? I don't think we can see the buildings yet. We're still pretty high up, but yes, we have a fully furnished apartment ready for you. All the things you sent in advance are already unpacked. Full kitchen, laundry, no different than anywhere else. More square footage than you'd ever get in a big city. Seats up, please. Seatbelts on. We're preparing to land. Gabriella passed a drink to the attendant and buckled her belt. I double-checked my seatbelt and stuffed my things into the backpack at my feet. I took a deep breath, eager to be back on the ground. Your sister's joining us soon, right? Yeah, Vanessa had just graduated a few days ago. Her father took her out to celebrate that and the new job before we vanished off the face of the earth. That's lovely. Good for her. I'm sorry for how strict all the protocols are. Once you're processed, you'll be given scheduled times you can call your family and friends every month. And you can always send a letter, though they do have to be reviewed for confidential information, of course. Of course. I sighed quietly as the plane began to descend. Crummy turned aside. This was the opportunity of a lifetime. I would have been a fool to refuse this job, but I had a really bad feeling. Oh, God. Oh wow, so our fate is sealed either way. We either get kidnapped and tortured or we live and some attractive man shoots us. Basically, yes, Keiki. Basically, yes. This contraption is amazing. We're above the clouds. Commander, what is it called again? Huh? The airplane? Airplane. Why does the sorcerer captain use his powers to commute people around the planet in this metal noisy tube? Surely there must be more comfortable containers. The plane doesn't fly off magic, Kispy. He's cute. I followed Gabriella down the street, dragging my luggage behind me as she flipped through a packet she was handed after stepping off of the airport. Everything appears in order. I have your badge and your keycard. HR processed your identification and background check. Huh? They just now did that? Well, yes, dear. This is still the government. Paperwork moves at a snail's pace. What would happen if I failed the background check? You'd be put back on the plane. Lovely. To be fair, someone who suspects they will fail the background check typically raises that issue in advance. It shouldn't be a surprise to fail. It's all standard procedure. Hi Joss, this is Monika Viotto. A beefy man standing at a large gate looked me over once and then glanced at his clipboard. Gabriella handed him a sheet of paper which he quickly skimmed and nodded. Hope your flight was pleasant, miss. Welcome to quarantine. Quarantine? Quarantine? Don't scare her. Gosh, it's a dumb nickname for the facility. What is the name of it? And what branch of the government do we report to anyway? That's a scientist for ya. Always with the questions. The security guard chuckled as he handed me an access pass on a lanyard. I looped it over my neck and let it fall to my chest. On paper, we fall under the Department of Defense. They have the largest and most flexible budget. In practice, the director doesn't report to anyone. As for the facility, we call it the Glade around here. It doesn't have an official name since it's not supposed to exist. There are all kinds of nicknames for it. The director is my boss, right? Who's that? Victor Cross. So it's that guy that we just got shot by. Here we go. Here we go. From what I remember of the first game, there's no real good ending. No, they're all bad endings. Every single one of them. The disdain in Josh's voice caused me to pause briefly, but Gabriella either didn't notice or care. Yes, you'll meet Victor tomorrow once you're settled in. He's quite excited to have you here. He is? Josh signed a paper and handed Gabriella another before opening the gate for us. I followed Gabriella inside. Welcome, miss. I'll see you around. Welcome back. So we went down one ending where she gets old, but then this guy finds her and kills her. Totally casual. And now we pick the give the phone and actually accept the job offer option, and we've been brought to this weird facility. I smiled at the friendly but giant guard before he shut the gate. The name quarantine felt unsettling, although logically it made sense given the remote location and disconnection with the outside world. An unsettling thought occurred to me as Josh locked the gate behind us. If the outside world didn't know we existed, then the outside world didn't really exist to us anymore. Anything could happen out there: war, pandemic, natural disaster, alien invasion, and it could be days, weeks or months before I found out. I may as well be on another planet. Suddenly, I wanted to talk to my mother and sister again. At least Vanessa would be here soon. Having her nearby would be comforting. Let's head to your apartment so you can unpack. I nodded, eager to rid myself of the heavy backpack and suitcase. The tap with every step of Gabriella's pointy heels left me wondering how badly her feet must hurt after walking around town all day. What kind of crazy person took an overnight flight in stilettos? Fashion never failed to baffle me. As we walked, Gabriella pointed out the various stores and facilities: a gym, a deli, a pharmacy, an urgent care centre for medical emergencies, and more. Everything I could possibly need was indeed within walking distance. The city looked clean and new. I was impressed. I love this little cafe. How about we stop and get you something to eat? I'm sure you must be famished. Your apartment wasn't stocked with food in advance due to your unknown diet and allergy restrictions. Oh, would my credit card even work here? I don't have any cash. To my surprise, Gabriella laughed. I completely forgot. I'm sorry. Come on, I'll show you. Confused, I followed Gabriella inside the cafe. We stepped up to the counter as I looked over the menu. Whoa, wasn't this Cafe Luna in the previous world? Yes it was. This is incredibly strange. I've never seen an entire unique place relocate between worlds. Multiple instances of branded restaurants are a thing, right? I have noticed some before. Yes, they're called chain stores or franchises. But in the last world, Cafe Luna was a small family business run by an old man. Also, typically franchises share a name. This place is named Cookie Cafe. Could this be related to the anomaly? I can't imagine how it would be, but I suppose anything is possible at this point. Where's the prices? There aren't any. What would you like? Huh? What can I get ya? Pressured by the employee's impatient tone, I blurted out the first sandwich I saw on the menu. Gabriella added some drinks and other snacks to the order. She then gestured at my lanyard. Still confused, I passed it to the man. He scanned it, returned it, and then turned to prep the food. We scan things to track inventory and prevent abuse. The system is amazing. We've never had any supply issues because we always know exactly what we have in stock across the entire facility. Is payment deducted from my paycheck? Nope, there's no capitalism here. So you can just walk in and get food. That's nice. Anything could happen out there and it would still be safer than working in this facility. I know, right, Liz? It's so dodgy. It feels like we're walking into something that we're not supposed to. Havens, welcome. It's already 60 degrees here. 60 degrees, like C. I'm guessing you're talking about Fahrenheit? Wait, no. Surely you can't get to 60 degrees. Wait, what? It's already 60 degrees here. But, sorry, I don't know why the thing was open, so I was like hearing my voice and cringing there. 60 F to C. 15 degrees, yeah, there we go. I was about to say, like, 60... What? That's quite cold. Here it's 20 degrees Celsius. And I'm quite happy. I like 20 degrees. That's a good temperature. It runs on the blood, sweat, and tears of taxpayers. Oh, God. Anyway, no capital. I don't know if you would describe it as communism or socialism or some other ism. I did poorly in social studies. Anyway, everything is paid for by the facility. You're right, though. It's paid by the US taxpayers. Everyone who lives here performs a necessary job. No job, you're sent home. So everyone here gets the same quality apartment and access to the same amenities and products, including meals. The only thing you buy for out-of-pocket are special imports. So if you want a Gucci handbag or a video game, you have to place an order with me or another coordinator. We'll deduct the cost plus shipping from your paycheck, which is direct deposited once a month. Whoa, I don't have to pay for rent or groceries? Nope, no one here does. It's one of the perks to offset the isolation and demanding workload. I warned you there was no work-life balance, remember? These perks help our researchers focus full-time on their work. Oh, Jesus. There's always a catch. We also have assistants in the office who will run your errands like getting groceries. It's important to the director and the efficiency of this program that you dedicate all of that brain power to your work and not the trivialities of daily life. Wow. Suddenly, that insane paycheck was even larger than I expected. Sometimes, there's always a price to pay for money though. Always. Oh, God. Unless it's the... Yeah, no, in England it's always Celsius, so Fahrenheit is like, I'm like completely lost. Suddenly, that insane blah, blah, blah. Of course, those are offers, not requirements. If you want to do your own shopping, you can. Burnout is a risk you need to be conscious of, so make sure you're taking care of yourself mentally and physically. As Gabriella rambled on about other perks to help with burnout, the employee returned and handed us a heavy bag of food and another of drinks. I was surprised to see the drinks were in thermoses and not disposable plastic. Gabriella noticed my confused stare. Every building has a recycling centre on the bottom floor for store property like these cups, containers and utensils. These get washed and returned to the stores daily. Minimal waste for obvious reasons. I'm impressed. It is impressive, isn't it? I don't think anywhere else in the world has pulled off something like this, but it's successful only because we all have a common goal and complete equality regardless of our position. That cashier lives in the same quality apartment as you, me, and the director. We turn to head out. Yeah, let's face it, the director's actually got a better place. Come on now. Not that I'd care, I'd be happy as long as my apartment's good. Does UK call soda pop? I know we call it like cola or Fanta or Sprite, or like we don't really call it a soda. You know what I mean? Soda pop. American accents make me laugh. When I put them on, they sound wrong, which is why it makes me laugh. Okay. We turned to head out of the cafe just as the door opened and another customer walked in. I froze immediately as I saw a familiar face.
Wow.
Oh my god, it's Quinn, but with like different hair. Oh my god, Monika? Quinn? Just like the first time we'd met, fragments of reality in my vision began to crack and shift. White stars among purple smoke faintly reflected in those shards that floated around us. It was an uncommon lifelong phenomenon that still lacked an explanation, but at this point I was used to it and could ignore it.
Why?
Why are you here? I got a job offer. I just arrived. What are you doing here? I admired Quinn's new hair colour combo that looked more sleek and professional despite being equally abnormal to the red and blue I had seen in college. Why did they look so worried? I work here. Oh, what a small world. How do you two know each other? I met Quinn in college, but you were only there a few months and then you vanished. Sorry, I wanted to say goodbye, but I didn't have time. There was a family emergency. I thought I'd be back, but it just didn't work out. I'm just glad you're okay. I was really worried about I didn't have any way to contact you.
Sorry.
Well, I guess this is as good a time as any. Monika, meet your new assistant. Oh my god. Quinn and I stared at Gabriella, surprised. Quinn's worried and depressed expression quickly shifted into joy.
Really?
Really? That's amazing. Yep, I was going to introduce you tomorrow. Monika is assigned to the zoo. Speaking of which... I'm sorry, Quinn, but your access badge was denied. You'll only be able to enter when accompanied by Monika or the director. She's assigned to the zoo? Oh no, he looks worried. Oh no. I'm sorry, we're Americans aside. Oh my god, your American accent is top notch. We need a stream where Peach only talks in an Oh god, that would be awful. I rode you to college with my horse. Yeah. Peach with a southern accent. I can't see myself, but southern accents are so much harder. Southern and New York, I cannot do it. Oh dear. What's that? Long story, we'll go through all of that tomorrow. Monika literally just got off the plane. The food's getting cold and that bag looks heavy, so let's get you to your apartment. Yeah, okay, I guess I'll see you tomorrow, Quinn. Yeah, have a good evening. Great to see you again. Yeah. Gabriella led me down a few more blocks before we reached a large apartment building. After we entered, we stepped into an elevator. Truth be told, I honestly don't know what the zoo is. It's above my pay grade, I guess, and I don't have access either. I just know the name and building. Oh, I thought she'd know. Was Quinn in the previous game? He looks familiar. He was the housemate of Monika's. So it's weird that he's appeared and he looks different as well. Southern accent, you'll just make fun of me. Sorry, no, Victor will explain all that tomorrow. The elevator dinged a second time and the doors slid open. My apartment was a few doors down. Gabriella showed me how to scan the keycard, then we stepped inside. Home sweet home. Gabriella gave me a quick tour of the rooms. As promised, my things I sent ahead were already unpacked. The place was lovely and modern, with a pretty view over the city from the high floor. It was far beyond my expectations for free government housing. Okay, I know you're exhausted, so I'll head out. Enjoy the food, get settled in, have a nice long sleep. I'll stop by at 9 tomorrow morning to show you the office. Gabriella headed out with a wave, and I was left alone in my apartment. I crashed on the couch and kicked off my shoes before pulling food out of the bags. How did Quinn end up here? We'd only known each other a couple of months at college before they vanished, but we became quick friends. Quinn was the first gender-fluid person I ever met. I spent an embarrassing amount of time practicing their pronouns in private so I wouldn't cause any offence. I was heartbroken when they left. We had so much fun at parties and studying together. Their confidence, curiosity and carefreeness were inspiring. Now that I thought about it, I never knew Quinn's major. How did they get involved in the paranormal? I hadn't told them about my circumstances or interests. A lot of people found it weird and off-putting, so I avoided the topic. As I unwrapped the food, I quickly realised I didn't have any napkins or towels. I grumbled, but remembered that Gabriella had used my lanyard to pay for the food. I could probably stop at a nearby store to pick up some necessities. I stood and walked over to the window, looking to see if there was one nearby or if I would need to backtrack to the last one I saw. I immediately noticed Quinn's bright hair across the street just before the cracks in reality formed again. I want to know what these cracks of reality is. They were arguing with a tall man in a suit. Both of them looked irritated at best. He's here. Already? Wow, I didn't expect that. Oh, the guy on the right is the one that killed us in the other ending. Oh yeah, Beach, I'm going to Italy in a few weeks, doing a layover in UK. Oh, that's nice. I hope you enjoy your time here. And obviously in Italy. I'm kind of jealous. I want to go to Italy. I stared at the unidentified man as they argued, wondering who it could be. It was difficult to anger Quinn. Typically, Quinn exuded an air of nonchalance, taking everything in stride with a subtle smirk, as if already plotting their revenge. Now Quinn looked distraught and furious. Suddenly, they both froze and looked up in my direction. In a panic, I jumped away from the window, unsure why I felt the need to hide myself. After a moment, I peeked through the window again, but they were both gone. Huh. I wonder what the zoo location is. Very curious. It's our hot killer. Visiting Nonna? Wait, but how come he didn't age and we did? I think he, like, time travels and does weird things. Knock, knock, knock. Startled by the noise, I jumped out of bed. It took me a moment to reorient myself and remember where I was and why. Ah, coming! Hang on! I wrapped a robe over my nightgown and rushed to the door. Gabriella stood there with a bright smile, then laughed. Forgot to set the alarm? Yeah, crap. Terrible first day. Just give me a min. Don't worry. There's no schedule for us. I'll meet you downstairs when you're ready, okay? Yeah, thanks. Whoa, I work here? I tilted my head up to stare at the enormous building in front of me. Surprisingly, it looked fairly neutral, like a typical office building, but huge. Indeed you do. Let's head in. I find this place a little bit scary though, like, you know, too perfect and a bit creepy. I want to go to Europe. It's expensive here in America and hot. Yeah, it's nice in Europe. But I'd recommend you came here in like late spring or early autumn, maybe. We climbed the stairs and entered. The interior was surprisingly modern compared to the more traditional exterior. Gabriella waved to the receptionist, who glanced at me, then smiled and nodded. I followed Gabriella down the hallway and into an elevator. So, the plan is I'm going to introduce you to your boss, Victor Cross. Then my part's done here. Oh, almost forgot. Here, this is for you. She handed me the latest model of a Della Rosa branded cell phone she pulled out of her shoulder bag. This has the contacts of all your co-workers pre-programmed, including myself, Victor, and Quinn. Oh, and the number to your sister's future phone. I'll give that to her after she arrives. So, Della Rosa is still the tech giant company here, but the people that make up Della Rosa are completely different? Yes, that's not unusual. Much of a human's life is crafted by luck, timing, and opportunity. Changing the person standing in that position doesn't always change the life. I'm guessing this doesn't work outside the facility. Correct, and it won't connect to anyone out in the real world. If you dial the emergency number, it connects to the local police dispatcher. The number for security is also in there. Security? Security is better equipped to handle the more unusual and risky aspects of your job. Police is specifically for traditional emergencies, like if you need an ambulance or need to report theft. Just so you know, police do not have unlimited access to the research buildings. Security does, so if you have a heart attack while you're in your office, security will be faster than the police. That's weird. That's policy. Security is a top priority at all times. She shrugged with a forced laugh as the elevator dinged and the doors slid open. Ooh, pretty room. We walked down the short hallway and stepped into an enormous and elaborate office. So much for equality. I was surprised to see the same man in the suit that Quinn had been arguing with yesterday. He plastered an obviously fake smile and stood. When he reached me, we shook hands. Thank you, Gabriella. That'll be all. She also forced on a fake smile and nodded. Have a good day, Monika. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Okay, thanks for everything. She nodded and left the room. Nice to meet you, Mr. Cross.
I am Victor.
Please, I am Victor. No formalities, it's weird. Dear husband, let's go to London. It's giving Black Mirror vibes. Oh yeah, I feel that. Dear Europe, chill with the ticket prices. Yeah, it's so expensive, right? Late spring is the best for being in Europe, except for this year where we'd had a cold and rainy year. We really did. I remember complaining all of May. I'll be at Sardinia and Rome. That's... No, I really want to go to Rome. Oh, hi, Killer. That likes our future daughter. He is cute, though. Pretty privilege at its finest. Okay, Victor. I heard you already met your assistant, Quinn, so that speeds things up a bit. You may use them however you see fit. They certainly don't have your unique expertise, but they do know the facility and systems well. Am I unique?
You are special.
Let's not waste time playing games. You're here because you are special. Your unique senses with this new supernatural will be very useful here. How? Natural talents, they develop in a rare few. We seek those people out when we learn of their existence. Your field of study is merely an added bonus. But how do you know? No one outside of my family knows. I sure as hell didn't tell Quinn. Rumours get around. I glared at him, quickly growing impatient. No, they sure as hell don't when people don't know about them. How did you know? His smirk grated on my nerves instantly. He's like... I work for the government. There's little I don't know. I bit my tongue as a curse formed on my lips. An argument was not a great way to start a relationship with my new employer, but I doubted I'd be able to restrain my temper permanently. I could already see why he and Quinn didn't get along. Still, I wanted to keep this job, both because of the money and its relevance to the field that had dominated my interest for decades. There weren't many opportunities even remotely close to this one. You're assigned to the zoo. Quinn will introduce you to those who can provide assistance, equipment, and help with any task you may need. Huh? Gabriella said Quinn doesn't have access. He does not. He may accompany you should you find it necessary, but he is not allowed to be alone among the subjects. Subjects? What is it I'm studying? No one has told me anything. That irritating smirk reappeared.
Well...
It'll be easiest to show you, dear. Oh god, do I want to know? Oh my god. Victor led me down a labyrinth of hallways across the enormous building, through multiple security gates, each more scrutinized and secure than the last. He introduced me by name to 3 of the latter checkpoint guards, since I would be a regular visitor to the area. After what felt like miles, we reached a long hallway with a large metal door at the end. Beside that door, there was a keypad, card scanner, and handprint scanner. I watched as Victor entered a long series of numbers, scanned his badge, and then placed his palm on the scanner. After a moment, there was a series of beeps, and the metal doors slowly slid open. Oh. We stepped inside together. The door immediately slid shut behind us. I was briefly blinded by the unnecessarily bright fluorescent overhead lights reflected off of the sterile white floors. The side of the room we faced was circular, with 4 large doors that each had a window peering inside the thick plane of glass. Each window showed a wildly different room within. A nameplate hung over each door. Each door also had a keypad, hand scanner, digital screen, and a big red button that looked like it was for emergencies. What the hell? My first thought was that this room was a secured area that contained 4 portals to other worlds. I was ecstatic about that idea. I had always longed to peer inside another realm or explore one myself. Oh look, they all have the love interests. I'm guessing that one's Alexander maybe, and then you've got Julian, then you've got Brandon, and I think that must be maybe Sebastian? I don't know, based on the silhouettes. Eating tacos? Oh my god, I'm jealous. This is an interesting game. I wish you could see the 18 plus stuff. I'm going to play some more Hanase. Well, Astro, you can always try the main game demo. I think that has the 18 plus stuff that you could explore, and it's free because it's a demo. It allows you to play one whole route, so highly recommend. They just ended their streaming series. Who did? But that hope began to fade when a person moved to stand in front of each door. My eyes drifted back up to the nameplates, immediately realizing my mistake. Those weren't weird names or alternate worlds. They were normal human names. My eyes skimmed each face. Oh, here we go. Got the love interest. I love it how at the moment 18 plus is mentioned, everyone's like, 18 plus? Ooh, 18 plus? I guess it's kind of rare, isn't it, for there to be an 18 plus Otome game? What's more messed up, this game or Butterfly Poison? They're kind of hard to compare because they're like two very different genres. Like, if this was a splatter gore movie, then Butterfly Poison would be like a thriller, maybe? I don't know. Alexander, looking a bit concerned, stood in front of what I could only imagine was an elaborate pool party. I mean, I personally probably prefer Butterfly Poison in that I'm more of a drama person, but like I said, they're really hard to compare because they're so different. Like this I enjoy because of like so much shock and it's like constant, whereas Butterfly Poison is a bit of a slow burn, isn't it? It all happens like more towards the end than anything. Saying that things happen to her over and over again, so but you know, the slow burn for the romance. Oh no, I forgot what happened, but I remember this redhead guy was bad news. They're all bad news, Nanomi. I don't know about Quinn though. I'm not sure if Quinn's bad news. I think his is the most romantic route or something. Bad news in a good way, of course. Julian, who looked like he'd just seen a ghost, stood in front of a dark dungeon. Oh my god, Sebastian! Jesus, he's so creepy. I love it. Look at him. He's way too happy to see us. Brandon, who simply looked pissed, stood in front of a cave. Sebastian, who looked like he'd just been surprised with the puppy he'd always wanted, stood in front of a dark, empty room. Oh my god. Peach, someone said 18 plus. I'm trying to advertise an online convention to you, but YouTube won't let me. I don't know why. An online convention? If it's a link, then I've basically stopped links from being posted, I think. I can't remember. Oh, I see. Right, okay, that makes sense. Oh my god, Sebastian, he's so, like, out of all of them, he's got the loosest screw. Like, he's got something missing from his head, like, honestly. You can't say the convention name. Oh, that's a shame. The redhead kind of looks like Yang. I think someone said that previously and I'd completely forgotten about it. Oh, that's really weird. I wonder why you can't say it. You were thinking of Sebastian. Yeah. Alexander's pretty bad news too, though. Oh my god. I love this CG so much. It really, like, no CG describes Sebastian better than this one. Like, honestly, I love this so much. What the hell is this, Victor? Victor raised a brow at me, then chuckled.
This is a complicated question to answer.
I'm a scientist, Victor. I'm here to study the supernatural, not play warden to a bunch of prisoners. That grating smirk again. Don't be so easily fooled. Has it never occurred to you that demons may wear the masks of humans? Demons? I hesitated because, no, I had never considered that, or the fact that demons existed. I never actually thought I'd ever see an intelligent being from an alternate dimension. The mere idea that other dimensions existed was something I had dreamed of, but it always seemed out of reach. Seeing something as simple as a ghost would have me dying happy. These 4 creatures are your research subjects. You may use them in any way you see fit. It will not be scrutinizing the morality of your methods. Oh, okay. We may use them in any way we see fit. Oh, God. YouTube for kids. A Christian channel, it is? All 4 subjects are from the same realm. They each possess unique powers. Your job is to figure out the source of these powers and how to extract or duplicate them for our use. Extract? Humanity could benefit greatly from harnessing otherworldly magic, don't you think? That's debatable. Well, that's for the philosophers to decide. Our job is to study, learn, experiment, and produce results. I swallowed nervously as my stomach turned into knots. Each man watched me closely. I could tell they could not hear us speaking through the thick metal doors and glass. What kind of... They just look like normal people. What magic am I even looking for? That laugh. Peachy, get your head out of the gutter. It's an R18 game, Keiki. Can't sell demonetize that demon. I love that, Nomi. Victor laughed and turned around. I hadn't noticed, but beside the door we entered, there was another large red button similar to the others. I immediately regretted my question as Victor smashed the button. When I turned back, I stumbled in horror, falling against the wall behind me. My eyes skimmed each man once again. All 4 were in a great deal of pain and screaming, although I heard only buzzing. Oh, God! Oh, my God. Oh. Alexander's body was glowing with a mystical white light. His tall form was surrounded by floating purple particles as his hair faded into grey. In addition, the shirt he wore transformed into an open short-sleeved t-shirt that showed a purple glowing gem embedded in his chest. Julian was the most unchanged of all 4 men. His clothes remained the same, but I could see fangs glinting in his wide-open mouth under the fluorescent light. Oh God, this is quite awful, isn't it? Brandon had the most chilling transformation. His top had dissolved. His top has dissolved completely, guys, leaving a glowing, elaborate, and demonic red scar pulsing with energy on his chest. His hair had darkened to black. Sebastian was hidden among pure darkness, as if he was night itself. His entire outfit had shifted into something solid black, which was hidden beneath shadows that fully encased his body. His eyes glowed a faint green, which stood out ominously against the black, although his hair remained unchanged. Short horns now pierced through. Whatever Victor had done to them lasted only a matter of seconds, but it was enough to fully unnerve me. Oh God, his laugh. I remember telling about a webtoon and YouTube won't show it in chat. Oh, I wonder why. I didn't know that was like, I didn't know there was so much sort of, you can't do this, you can't do that on YouTube. Like, as in the chat bit. Dog trying to steal my chips. Aw, say hi to your dog for me. I'm not sure this research is entirely ethical. I don't think it is either, Nanomi. What in the baby is going on? You're right, it's a bit Obey-esque, isn't it, with the whole demons and things. When it ended, all 4 men fell to their hands and knees, clearly exhausted, panting, sweating, struggling to remain conscious as Victor continued to laugh. Their normal clothes, which I could only now assume were an illusion, slowly faded back into place, hiding their secrets once again. Fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. I was speechless and shocked. A million questions raced through my mind. How did they get here? I put them there. How? How did you find them? How did you capture them? This is the government, Monika. All information is on a need-to-know basis, and that is not relevant to your duties. I glared at him and he glared back. Here's what you need to know. These creatures are your adversaries. They are a threat. They are dangerous.
They will say anything to get what they want.
They will say anything to get what they want. Sorry, I felt like copying it. They will lie to you, manipulate you, play tricks on your mind, invade your thoughts, and they even resort to violence if they think for 1 second it will gain them anything. You must not trust them or anything they say. They will weave fiction into fact and twist your subconscious into believing it, perhaps even alter your memories or thoughts with their abilities. I have no idea what the limits of their powers are, but I do know they include psychic abilities. That is the reason Quinn was denied access to this room. As psychiatrists determined their mind is too weak to risk exposure. Instead, Quinn will be your sanity check. You will be evaluated after each exposure to these creatures or when cause is deemed necessary. You are to submit to these examinations and always answer truthfully. Failure to do so will result in immediate termination of your employment. In addition, be aware of these rooms are being recorded and monitored 24/7, video and audio for security. Resort to violence? Yes, they won't harm you immediately. They know by now that killing one of us will only make things worse for them. But if they have a chance to escape by killing you, they will take it. Do you think that's true, Commander? I can't imagine them hurting her just to escape, especially not Brandon. I like Gisby, bless him, he's just so adorable. This is a new reality, Guardian. We know the last one was particularly unique. The males there were obsessed with her. Their lives and every thought in their head revolved around her, literally. That is not true here, and it would be presumptuous to assume anything. They are different people with different backgrounds, motives, and relationships. Anything is possible. Also, don't forget, despite the abnormalities of the last world, most of them did harm or even kill her when pushed too far. That is still possible. It's merely a question of where that line is now. So we can't assume they all love or will love her here. It's impossible to predict. Love is not a core personality trait that would carry between realities. Well, given the way Sebastian is looking at her, maybe he's an exception. Bless him, that's CG. I love that so much. It was just like, that CG couldn't have been more Sebastian, you know? I'm not sure, Vince. I'm gonna basically leave when I feel like it, essentially. Well, I'm gonna use that now on to explain things that can't be explained. This is the government, Monika. That goes with corn, cake, strange, good. It sounds delicious. As Victor rambled, I watched the men, demons, recover from the assault. Alexander simply walked away out of my line of sight. Julian, after a few moments of looking like he was on the verge of tears, soon followed. Brandon's hand balled into fists. He beat on the glass window fruitlessly, but I heard nothing. Sebastian merely observed us in silence, a faint smile still on his lips. That smile unsettled me. The other reactions I understood, but I did not understand why he smiled, because he's obsessed. Is all of that clear? Yes, that's clear. I had no reason to doubt Victor, even if I found him irritating. He was my boss. I was hired to do a job, regardless of its questionable reality and origin. I was nervous, anxious, and worried about both my mental health and physical safety. But I was also incredibly excited. I had just observed proof of the supernatural. Decades of hope, belief, and blind faith had finally paid off, and now I had unlimited access to learn as much about it as I could. This is amazing. I can't wait to get started. I love it how she's excited despite what she saw. Here. As we entered my private office, Victor fished out a device and tossed it to me. I fumbled but caught it, then examined it closely. It was a small rectangular piece of black plastic. 4 numbered buttons were displayed on the front of the device. One end featured a hook to secure it to my lanyard. The entire device was no larger than a pack of gum. While in a subject's room, pressing one of those buttons will trigger the room's shock feature, which will debilitate them. Numbers are left to right. Alexander is 1, Sebastian is 4. That is your final option for both physical and mental defense. It will interrupt anything they attempt. That looked really painful. That devious smirk again. He seemed to take pleasure in his cruelty.
Obviously.
Oh, it is. Settle in today, get familiar with your surroundings, and start thinking about a strategy. Tomorrow you are free to access the zoo at your convenience. I want daily reports emailed within 24 hours, including any events, plans, and documents. No exceptions. If there is an emergency, call security. Once everything's under control, call me to report. I nodded. I was relieved his demands weren't too unreasonable and wouldn't be excessively micromanaged. I hooked the shock device onto my lanyard. Why are their rooms so varied? In reality, their rooms are empty prison cells. The environments you see are their manifestations. They call it glamour. The technology in the rooms limits their powers significantly, but unfortunately does not eliminate it. I hope it's obvious that you must never let them out. In those cells, the powers are mere parlor tricks. Outside, they could kill us all and demolish this city. I swallowed nervously. Before I could respond, there was a knock on my office door. I called out to the visitor. "Oh, kitty!" Quinn walked in, followed by a little white cat with brown eyes at their heels. Casper! I knew Kispy was going to say something. They are from the government and they are here to help. Exactly, Parker, exactly. Okay, Vince. Well, thank you for coming by, though. I appreciate it. It was fun. I just simply adore Eliza, obsessed with you to the point of being stalkerish. He is like Stalker 101 type of thing. Textbook stalker, even. Bye, Vince. Take care. Victor, it really is a sadist. I think he's a love interest, maybe, in the first game. I'm not sure. I haven't unlocked him if he is. I've seen him, like, appear as, like, just a random sprite here and there, but... Here we go again. Victor scowled at the cat as it jumped on my desk. Quinn looked cheerful at first, but one glance from Victor made him shrivel back nervously. Perfect timing. We're done here. Show her around.
Of course.
Victor nodded and left. The second my office door closed, Quinn visibly relaxed. I petted the white cat, who purred in response and nuzzled my hand. So cute. So I get the impression Victor is not the greatest boss. That nervous look returned, Quinn thought, then sighed as they scratched their cheek. He can be difficult. I see you and Casper getting along. He's so cute. I'm surprised you're allowed to bring a pet here. Casper is not exactly a pet. Huh? Casper is from the same realm as the subject. Aw, he's a demon too. What? Magic cat, magic cat. Please, why is Kispy not a love interest? He's so adorable. He's like himbo vibes. If he isn't alive, oof, I can already tell what the bad endings would be like with that sadistic mindset. It would be awful. Also, I just got delivery. Be right back. Oh, God. I am back. Basically, I ordered some, what you call it, basically, I ordered, some groceries, and they just arrived. But my boyfriend said that he would, deal with it, so, which is very sweet of him. Magic cat, magic cat. Oh no, this is going to complicate everything. My hand froze in the air. Casper, annoyed with the withdrawn affection, headbutted me in the hip to demand more attention. I cautiously resumed as I examined him more closely, but he looked like a perfectly normal cat. Does the cat?
Well,
As far as we can tell, he has no powers or other forms. There's nothing unique about him. He's completely unaffected by the shock tech in the zoo rooms too. Hee, Victor tried to shock the cat. I get so much himbo vibes from Kisby. I love it so much. Who does Casper belong to? That's a good question. The cat currently has brown eyes. I don't think we ever saw that colour before. You're right. The eye colour matched whatever companion owned the cat at the time. Does that mean Casper belongs to Monika? No one. None of the subjects claim ownership. Casper just got swept up in this mess, I guess. He lives here at the facility. The assistants feed him. I tried to take him home with me once, but somehow he escaped and returned here. Since he's happy here and everyone likes him, we let him stay. Cars and wild animals are rare, so he's safe as a free cat. This strong, independent cat don't need no more... Anyway, we've got a lot to see and people to meet, so let's go. Casper remained sitting on my desk as we left. I left the door cracked open for him. Oh, we stand Mr. Peachy. Grocery delivery. Mr. Peach will never show his face. He's too shy. But grocery delivery here isn't bougie at all. It's like, it's just if you're either disabled or it's too far, then it's easier to order in. How are the wedding plans going? We need to save money first. Yeah, my boyfriend proposed to me last year in November. Which reminds me, I'm not wearing my ring. What am I thinking? I've got to show you guys. If I haven't left the house, I sometimes forget to wear it, but... Oh dear. Yeah, no, weddings are really pricey here as well, so that's why we need to save a lot. Oh, unless you're talking about groceries. At least my hubby, he snacks a lot. That's fair. Cassie, did you know? Did I not, like, I guess I didn't really go around telling everyone, but yeah, it's a Victorian ring, which is really exciting because I love antiques. Over the next few hours, Quinn gave me a tour of the office building and other places, including the security office and the enormous library a block over where Vanessa would likely spend her time. Like everything else I'd seen, every building and the tech within was new, modern, and advanced. After we explored the area, we stopped by another office building a few blocks down the street from mine. This one was more traditional and had a large warehouse connected to one side. Mental note to self, push to have full body sprites of a car character in the next Atomic project that gets Shanghaied. Pete seemed to love it. What? A voice of car? I think I just, I totally forgot. I'm so excited for your wedding. So demure. Yeah, it's cute, isn't it? It's nice because it's like, it's a solitaire diamond, but it has like the sides kind of swirl around. Cat, damn you, YouTube autocorrect. Yes, you do need to put the mascot character as a sprite, Varga. It's good that you're taking it slow and saving up. Weddings aren't cheap and you deserve to have a wedding. That's the thing. I want it to be one that I like rather than one that I'm sort of like, yeah, I want it to be one that I enjoyed. I don't want it like, I don't want to half-ass it, if you know what I mean. I can't believe I said... What's wrong with demure? That's such a, like, I quite like that word. The grand finale. After we passed reception and heavy security where I was yet again introduced... After we passed reception and heavy security, where I was yet again introduced as a future regular visitor, we stepped into a long hallway, then into the first room on one side. A huge amount of equipment, hardware and tech was stashed in every inch of space. In the center of the room was something amazing. It was like a vat of glowing energy that pulsed with light inside water. The little hairs all over my body stood and goosebumps formed on my skin. What is that? Do you sense that? Impossible. That can't be ethereal energy. It can't. In the center of the room sat a lovely feminine woman in a dress, tapping away at a small laptop. She looked up, annoyed. This is Isabella. She's nicer than she seems, I promise. What do you want? Good thing Quinn warned me because Isabella's impatient snap caused me to jump. This is the new scientist, Monika. Great, more work for me. I'm just introducing you, so she can come to me with more work to do. Well, I guess she's working on the zoo. At that, Isabella's eyes lit up with curiosity and excitement. Finally, can I go up there? I have so many...
Sorry.
We'd have to run it by Victor. Her audible growl of frustration was funny. Isabella shook her head and stood while offering me a smile that indicated she wanted something very badly. Nice to meet you, Monika. I'm the lead architectural engineer and head of mechanical R&D. Congratulations on your new job. I'm sure you're very excited. The zoo is... Has she seen it yet? Yes, but have you? A sly grin surprisingly suited her. I snuck into security and saw the monitoring screens.
Wow.
Probably more like you flirted your way in. You know that would get you fired, Isabella. You can't replace me, and not for a lack of trying. I'm the top of my field. Don't underestimate Victor's wrath, Isabella. The zoo is top secret, above top secret even. I don't even know if there's a classification. I'm assigned to the project, Quinn. I need to know what my machines are built to do. Tempers were starting to flare, so I cleared my throat to redirect the conversation. It would make my life easier if Isabella knew, so I had no complaints. Your machines? What is it you build? I was baffled this woman with perfectly manicured nails could build anything. Everything. Isabella can design or invent any kind of equipment or machine you may need. Lately she worked on an energy extractor. That's where that came from. All eyes shifted to the glowing vat. Wait, Victor said part of my job was figure out how to extract the energy. You've already done it? Having a religious ceremony? I don't think, I don't know what you count as religious. It would just be the usual say vows and then all of that. I look ridiculous doing trends. I'm too old. You're probably not. She looks like our obsessed boy, Sebi. So in the previous game and previous, reality, I guess, she's Sebastian's older sister. Yeah. Not exactly. Victor had an item he stole from one of the subjects, some purple jewel. I was able to withdraw a tiny fraction of the energy within it. A jewel? What? How? A jewel being the decorative stones the humans sometimes wear. We don't have anything like that in our world. At the start, I couldn't detect the energy with any device, but I assumed it was there just because the damn thing was always slightly warm, even after I tossed it in the freezer. But extracting that little bit nearly killed me. Whatever it is, it's dangerous. I don't even know what to do with what's in that vat. I'm forbidden from trying anything again until we understand it more. So that's your job. I build stuff, but you have to figure out what I'm supposed to build. What do you mean it nearly killed you? Quinn nodded, looking a bit sad. It did kill a few others in collateral damage. It was like a baby nuke went off. The entire building crumbled and crushed some people inside of it. Oh god. How did you survive that? I was so busy with the rescue efforts that I never got a chance to ask. Isabella hung her head in shame. I was shielded in case the device malfunctioned. A small explosion is a risk when you're driving blind, but I had no idea it would be that bad. The way the building collapsed, it was pure luck I didn't die. I got trapped beneath some metal beams that landed around me. It made a little pocket of space where I was safe as long as I didn't move. Phew. That sounds terrifying. Yeah, it was. We built a new facility for our future experiments on the edge of town that's better prepared for such a destructive force, and we'll clear out all personnel before we try anything risky again. I nodded along as I stared at the pulsing white and purple energy. The shards in my vision were fading in and out of existence, and it struck me that the shades of purple between the two were oddly similar. Was this energy somehow linked to my unexplained senses? Your unique senses with the supernatural will be very useful here. Natural talents they develop in a rare few. Victor must think so. I heard my name and tuned back into the conversation. So, Monika, if you have any ideas or learn anything, Isabella can try to help. She designed the zoo. That was impressive, given how little information she possessed. I don't know how anything I could learn would translate into a machine. I don't expect you to. Just relay any information about their abilities to me. You can copy me on your reports too. How their abilities work, where they're from, what they're capable of. Any little detail could be the key to a major advancement. Alright, I'll keep you informed. I admit it's hard to imagine you covered in grease and dressed in overalls. Isabella laughed and shook her head. I'm above the grunt labour. I design, invent, direct and oversee. Anything that requires my hands getting dirty is done by someone else's hands. When things get complicated, she will pick up a wrench. It's quite a sight to see. Ugh, only when those buffoons can't figure it out. I am a genius after all. My time is wasted tightening bolts and connecting wires. Could I? I pointed to the vat and Isabella nodded. I walked over to it as the two of them observed. Each step closer to the energy caused my fingertips to tingle and the shards in my vision to pulse faster. My mind swirled with 1,000 questions. When I reached the vat, I extended my hand and rested it against the glass. My consciousness was teleported somewhere horrible. Oh god. She looks like a... I entered the 30 wrong. Oh, same. I turned 30 last week. And now when you answer like your age and stuff, you have to pick the 30 to 35 box, and I hate it. 30, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not even that old. It just feels it because of the way everyone speaks about it. Lenny, did you not have a wedding? I always saw, like, I mean, I know I don't know you very well, but based on the way you speak and the way you are, I had the impression that you would have had, like, a pretty wedding. I don't know why. And in this reality, she is a researcher on a project revolving around him. Well, I know it's completely different, right? Wait, what have you... Yeah, I turned 30. Ugh. But yeah, happy birthday to you too, Lenny, whenever that was, that you turned 30. Milestone birthday. My vision was terribly blurred. From what I wasn't sure, I felt tears on my cheeks, smoke burned my eyes, blinding red colour surrounded me in every direction. The roar of a wild, enormous beast echoed in the distance. The scent of blood everywhere overwhelmed my senses. Blood was everywhere, the floors, the walls, the air. I was choking on it, gasping desperately for breath, and finding only smoke. Shades of red blurred into each other. I fell to my knees at the sight of a lighter red colour. Hair long, straight hair darkened by blood on the ground. Highlights were subtly moving from the sway of a nearby fire. The roar of an inferno sounded footsteps away. My heart and mind screamed with anguish. I had to help them. I had to save them. This was all my fault. Monika! What happened? I don't know. Touching ethereal energy behind the barrier should do nothing. I was only there a second, but it felt like an eternity. Quinn's tight grip on my arm snapped me back into reality. My mind was still convinced I could not breathe. I began gasping and coughing. My legs felt weak and I had to lean on Quinn to keep from falling over. What's wrong? What happened? Isabella grabbed my shoulder and tried to help me to a chair, but I panicked. There was no reason or logic in my mind. Instinct and terror fueled me. That terrifying thought echoed repeatedly. It was my fault. My fault. Mine. Death, blood, fire, smoke, pain, fear. So much blood, so much pain. I felt tears on my cheeks again, and that made everything I'd just experienced even more real. I couldn't breathe. The walls were closing in. I had to escape. I had to find air. I yanked free and ran away.
Wait.
Monika, wait! I ran down the hall and out of a fire exit with one thought burning in the back of my mind. I only knew of 2 people with long red hair. Alexander and Sebastian. As soon as my feet hit the concrete and my skin felt the sun's warmth, I fell to my hands and knees, desperate and thankful for natural light and oxygen. I took many deep, desperate breaths as my heart pounded. Tears dripped onto the sidewalk. My body shook in fear and exhaustion. Whoa, yo, you okay? What happened? The security guard from the gate happened to be walking by. He rushed over and knelt in front of me when he saw me collapse. I immediately jumped into his large arms and sobbed. For some odd reason, I felt safe with him. Perhaps it was because of his enormous size and innocent face, or maybe he was just the closest person not involved in this mess. Regardless, I cried and clung to his shirt. Nothing in my life had ever moved me to such irrational emotion. No, but I wish I did. It's not cheap. Can't believe a birthday pass. I didn't know. Yeah, it really isn't, is it? Weddings are so expensive. It's insane. Like, you have to save for ages, really. Lenny, you should join my server. If you join my server, you'd be like interacting with everyone more. And I just noticed someone subscribed. Thank you, Mystic Devil. Big buff man. Oh my god. I was gonna say Keiki. He seems like your type. If he was a himbo, even better. Which reminds me, I don't see why I shouldn't, let's see. If anyone wants to join my, Discord, here it is. That's true, you are busy with work. Which is a shame. I saw the future. I'm going to kill everyone. I have to get out of here. Oh. She saw the future? Absurd. There's no reason ethereal energy would create a premonition. What would happen to a mortal who touched ethereal energy directly? Well, it's never happened to my knowledge, but if we're only speaking of pure undirected energy, in a large dose it would certainly kill them. But the amount in that was only a droplet, really. It would likely inflict a seizure. To my surprise, Joss laughed. He looked goofy. I don't know what happened to you, miss, but I've seen enough crazy stuff here to know it ain't real. And even if it was, the future isn't written in stone. Huh, that's kind of ironic. How so? Well, because it is. All possible futures are already written in every reality from the moment of creation. All the possible futures being written is the same as none being written. The humans have no idea what path they will follow, and their choices aren't yet determined. I know that, but I am technically correct. Arguing semantics when you aren't familiar with basic human concepts like currency will only lead to misunderstandings, Guardian. Ah, come on, I thought it was funny. But I saw it. I saw people die. I saw... Where were you in this vision? I don't know. What caused the deaths? I don't know. Who died? Some of the test subjects in the zoo. I think there were more, but I don't know who. Well, it certainly doesn't sound like it was your fault then. When you're messing with monsters and magic, anything can happen. Although I couldn't argue, something deep inside me knew I was to blame. I couldn't put the feeling into words. But at the same time, maybe he was right. I didn't know if what I saw was a premonition of the future. That was just my assumption. It could have been a nightmare or some peek into the present of an alternate universe. It could have been one possible future out of many. My rationality began to return as my emotions settled. I pulled free of Josh and wiped the tears off my face. Josh smiled at me. I'm always here to help, miss. If you ever get worried you're in danger, you give me a call and I'll come running. Thank you. I will certainly take you up on that offer. I hope you do. He stood and helped me to my feet. Have you met the subjects in the zoo? Personally, no, but I'm familiar with them. I sometimes have to monitor their cameras. What do you think of them? Honestly, if I hadn't seen their other forms with my own eyes, I would think they're normal people like you and me. But don't let your guard down around them, miss. Everything here is dangerous. Everyone has their own agenda. That thought made me frown. Surely he didn't mean everyone, literally. It was the complete opposite of Gabriella's claim, and the entire design of this city. We were all working towards one common goal, weren't we? Monika? A voice calling my name prevented me from inquiring further. I turned to see Quinn, and Isabella had followed me out of the building. I blushed, now embarrassed about my dramatic overreaction. Hey, sorry for freaking out. What happened? I think I had a hallucination when I touched the vat. That's strange. I've touched that container 1,000,000 times and nothing's ever happened. What did you see? I'd just rather forget about it. It wasn't real. Quinn frowned, but I held firm. There was nothing to gain by describing the chaotic scene. I had no idea what it was or what it meant. I'd only frightened them unnecessarily. Thanks for showing me around, Quinn. I'll be in touch. Isabella, I'm going to head home and get some rest. Okay, sure. I'll see you tomorrow then. Whew. Crap, I don't have a Discord. Aww. I think it is time to make one. If only that space guy, this policeman were merged, I'd be so happy. That space guy is so derpy. I love it. Can I use my husband Discord? It's up to you, Lenny. I'll defo give you a call. His arms, Lord have made it. Cakey, you're killing me. Make me laugh. The following morning, I regained my rationality. There was nothing to gain by stressing over what I thought I saw. I could spend years fruitlessly pondering its significance, purpose, and meaning. I decided to forget about it, for now. I certainly wouldn't bring it up with the subject. Starting a new relationship with, I saw one of you die and it might be my fault, wasn't going to earn their trust. I needed to focus. Today was my first day on the job. The first step was obvious. I needed a lot of information. Speculation without a basic understanding of these subjects would be pointless. I would not get anything without establishing a relationship with each subject. It was unrealistic to expect them to immediately share their life stories. They were prisoners, and to them I was another warden. Before heading to the zoo, I reviewed each pile per subject, all mostly useless. I also had a long conversation with Quinn regarding safety procedures. Quinn reiterated that security monitored every room. That included both video and audio. Monitoring was around the clock and the subjects were aware they had no privacy. One fact I learned that unnerved me was that the zoo doors could not be opened from within. Either someone accompanying me or the person watching the cameras would have to open the door. I stood outside the zoo and took a calming breath to soothe my nerves. These next few hours are something I dreamt of for most of my life. Direct experience with people from other worlds. It's kind of a bit of a Cafe Enchante vibe going on here, but like less wholesome, obviously. Josh better be in a lie. I pray for you, Keiki. I had a clipboard ready for notes and the Zap device concealed but easily accessible in my pocket. Courage collected, I opened the high security door and stepped into the zoo. It took a few moments for subjects to notice me, but one by one they showed up in their windows, except for Julian. I could see him sitting on the floor in the back corner of his room, arms crossed over his knees and head buried in them. Brandon still looked annoyed, and Sebastian still looked ecstatic. My eyes shifted to Alexander, the only person who looked calm. His gaze was focused on Sebastian, not me. Since he appeared neutral, I assumed he would be the most communicative, so I decided to start with him. When I approached his room, Alexander was surprised. So here we go. We finally get to enjoy the existence of the love interests. I'm guessing these are love interests in this one as well. He took a few steps back as I entered the code and scanned my palm. The heavy door swung open slowly and I cautiously entered. I have a device that will shock you if...
I know.
Yeah, I know how this goes. Okay, I won't use it unless you try to hurt me. Hurt you? If it's alright with you, I'd like to ask... Why the hell are you here? Huh? I work here. He stared at me in confusion. Oh, you probably aren't familiar with the concept of employment. But I guess I'd have to explain with what currency is.
Don't insult me.
Seriously, Monika, come on. I know how the human realm works. Why are you here? He knows my name already? Victor must have told them. I'm here to learn about you, your abilities, and your world. Again, clear surprise. I had no idea what about my sentence was so shocking. Can I use my hair? Sebi? So this is Alexander, Sebastian's twin brother. Hi Celine, welcome. My world? I'm a research scientist and we, humans, we don't know anything about you or where you come from, although it seems you're quite familiar with us. You don't know who I am. Sorry, I know very little from the files we already have. I know your name is Alexander, although I don't see a surname. It's recorded that you have a volatile relationship with the subject, Brandon. You need to leave. All I want is to have a conversation. You need to leave. I don't know what the hell is going on or how Victor found you, but you're in danger. This was not a reaction I had anticipated, but I had prepared myself for them to be uncooperative or manipulative given Victor's warnings. Victor's my boss. I work for him and I only met him yesterday. I don't know what you think you're going to accomplish by frightening me with fictional conspiracy theories, but it won't work. Alexander stared for a moment in silence, then turned his back to me and walked further into the room with his hands in his hair, as if he were both frustrated and confused. My eyes drifted to the large window at the back of the room when he crossed the space, then narrowed in suspicion. Something about the lighting was wrong, and where was that view? It's not real. It's a painting or screen or something. Alexander had noticed my gaze when he turned back to me. He stepped around the pool and stood at the sofa by the stairs with a sigh. Or something? Victor said you all manifested these rooms. He's too stupid to understand how any of this works. Then what is it exactly? I'll make you a deal. I'll answer your questions if you answer mine. Alright, that's fair, but I'll only answer questions that do not jeopardize the security, safety, or privacy of anyone. Fine. These rooms are a reflection of our, let's say, personalities. I have no control over what you see. All I can do is turn it off or on, and on is... Obviously better than this. Oh my god, that's so tragic. Like, imagine... Oh god. The cheerful sunny room suddenly faded into an empty steel prison cell with painfully bright fluorescent lights overhead. I shivered as the temperature dropped. This is it? They didn't even give you a bed? This would drive anyone crazy, so I guess I should be grateful. The room shifted back. Immediately I felt relieved by the warmth. It was an amazing illusion, but I realized it was also tangible as Alexander sat on the small sofa that didn't exist a second ago. How the hell did Isabella create something like this? I knelt to dip a finger in the water, which was slightly chilly but normal. Are you a passionate swimmer? He stared at me with that confused look again. Maybe it was a dumb question, but I was curious about the specifics. How did a pool reflect a personality? When I scowled at his blank stare, he looked away.
Pleasure is the point of life.
No, I live for fun, peace and pleasure. Outside of joining a woman in bed, having a beer by the water in the summer is as good as life gets. Although I prefer it with a couple of girls in bikinis entertaining me. Very honest. The creators really like Sevi's design. Yeah, what I miss, all red hair. We're meeting the love interests, Lenny. My turn. Where the hell am I? This is a government research facility outside of America. Outside of America doesn't tell me much. Sorry, that's all I know. They wouldn't tell me what country this is. I was thrown on a private plane. Where are you from? What the hell is going on? What? I couldn't hear. My realm is called Nether. It's what you would consider an alternate dimension, I guess. And yes, some commonly visit this realm. You said this is your job. Why? Why did you take it? Why come here? I've been interested in the supernatural since I was a kid, and this job let me turn it into a career. What's Nether like? Like hell. What made you interested in the supernatural? That's sort of complicated.
Buttercup?
I got nothing but time. Buttercup. Oh dear, absolutely straightforward. Don't call me that. I was in an accident when I was a child, and then I started seeing and sensing strange things that I could never explain. I grew up trying to figure out what it was. So what is it? I still don't know. Why are you using your glamour right now? Habit. It's effortless. Everyone uses it in Nether for safety. An enemy being able to predict your powers is dangerous. How old are you? 22. Do other realms exist beside our two? Alexander's gaze drifted away in contemplative, concerned thought. His question and reaction to my answers confused me. What? Why does my age matter? Yes, of course there are other realms. How long have I been in here? According to your file, you have been with us for a bit under 2 years. 2? This doesn't make any sense. What doesn't make sense? Pass. Pass? If you can refuse questions, so can I. There are cameras on me 24/7. I'm not keen on sharing with Victor. Okay. What did you mean by hell? It's a realm filled with power-hungry, angry, greedy, murderous, egotistical monsters in a constant state of war. What did you think I meant? My eyes skimmed the room pointedly. I have no idea what to expect from any of this. Ha, well, trust me, it's not a place you want to visit, and it's not full of people you want to invite here. You make it sound like they can't all come here, so why not? How are you here? Some can realm travel, a rare few. And you're one of them? Naturally, no. Only Julian has that ability among us. Naturally? So does that mean you can unnaturally? Yes, is Quinn with you out there? Oh, I didn't realise you've met Quinn. Yes, they're my co-worker, but they don't have an active security clearance in here. At that, Alexander snorted, amused. I assumed he wouldn't answer if I asked why. How do you realm travel? Alexander hesitated for a moment, considering whether or not to answer, then pulled off his shirt to show the purple gem embedded in his chest. I'd noticed it briefly during his transformation and had intended to ask about it too. I wondered if the jewel Isabella said Victor had stolen was the same kind. I'm so pink someone helped. Oh, is it? I guess you were in, what was it? Arizona? It's really hot there, isn't it? Don't call us Buttercup. Buttercup. Cake, what's wrong with Buttercup? You make me laugh. What is that? My heart? Is Quinn working with Victor? I blinked as I took a moment to process, stunned by both the answer given and the question presented. I told you, Quinn is my co-worker, so yes, they work for Victor. For or with? I don't understand. Are they close? Are they friends? I don't think so, no. Okay, good. Good? As long as they aren't wrapped up with Victor, you can trust Quinn. Probably one of the rare few people in this shithole you can trust. Oh, does that include you? Would you believe me if I said yes? Of course not. It was a gamble to admit, but thus far his answers seemed honest, so I hoped the best way to form a trusting relationship with him was to do the same.
You can trust me.
That's what I expected, but for the record, the answer is yes. Sebastian and I are always on your side. That's a weird thing to say. Why are you two on my side? You don't know me. Alexander muttered something inaudible again, then sat in silence for a few minutes to think, staring away. Pass. Oh, okay. What about Julian and Brandon? Are they on my side?
Be careful who you trust.
Brandon? Hell no. Stay the hell away from him. Julian? I'm not sure, honestly. Why are you and Brandon at such odds? He tapped the gem again, then put his shirt back on. He's the reason I have this. Thing that lets you travel between dimensions? But isn't This gem replaced the heart he ripped out of my chest. It keeps me alive. The travel ability is a perk. I felt a chill run down my spine at the violent imagery. Why did Brandon do that? Because I got in his way? I'm so sorry. That's horrible. There's no one to blame but myself. It was stupid. Mess with the tiger, you get the claws. I'll keep that in mind. He's dangerous to everyone. Stay away from him. I nodded to move on with the conversation with no intention of respecting the request. Dangerous or not, Brandon was still my subject. I had a job to do. What happened in the accident when you were a kid? Why do you care? Just curious. Again, I have nothing but time. That seemed like a lie. Still, I saw no harm in sharing and was starting to feel bad for their isolation. The least I could do was have a casual chat. Socializing was probably a need for them just as much as it was for humans. Maybe opening up to him would convince him to do the same. 3 o'clock is 1,000 Celsius. You have aircon though, right? It's nothing strange. I was around 5. I had taken off my seatbelt to reach for a toy I dropped. My mother didn't notice. A drunk driver slammed into my side of the car. I barely survived. Lucky kid. Yeah, what have you done in this place for 2 years? A human would have gone mad. Well, it hasn't been a full 2 years for me. What do you mean? We were unconscious for some of it. Clearly much longer than I thought. When I woke up the first time, we awoke inside strange pods in the middle of a busy laboratory. Our bodies were bound inside. Humans in white clothes scurried back and forth while a tall man in a suit stood in the center of the room with his angry eyes locked on us. We learned his name much later. Victor. They would open our pods occasionally, poke us with needles, analyze us, strap medical devices to us measuring every detail they could imagine. He was always there. I was dizzy, disorientated, and barely aware most of the time. They pumped us full of drugs day and night as Victor watched in silence. One day, I don't know when or how long it was, I groggily woke to a mostly identical scene, except now Victor was absent. I suspected we wouldn't have many opportunities to escape. It was clear he was in charge. I could feel the drugs they'd pumped into us were weakening our abilities, but they hadn't eliminated them. The way he called us Buttercup was so cringe and Cakey was still on about that. I don't know, I'm not a fan of pet names. Like, you don't know how much I struggle with Silas and him calling us Kitten. I get it. I sort of get it. There are some that I struggle more with though. Like, Darling, I struggle with because, or Dear, I struggle with because it sounds a bit like something an old lady would say. Or Love. But Buttercup, I think, is kind of cute. But yeah, he did say it in a condescending way. It's also how they say it, right? Yeah, the researchers were most keen about taking measurements. Exactly, Varga. Measurements. Okay. Subject is awake again. Look. Crap, again? How much more should I give? This would already overdose a normal person. Eventually, some mousy girl opened a pod and attempted to attach a clip to my finger while watching a handheld screen. I seized the opportunity to grab her wrist and link our minds. You need to unlock my arm to measure that. The results will be off if you don't. She was weak-willed and unprepared for my forceful nonsense suggestion. She immediately obeyed. It only took a second and it was done before anyone noticed. The cuff around my wrist was removed and that was enough to free myself from the others. I got free and jumped out of the pod. Most of the humans in the room froze in fear. A couple charged at me, one of them armed with another needle. I threw that one across the room with my powers, a Herculean effort given my condition, and punched out 2 others before smashing through the surface of Julian's pod. I freed him first because I knew he would be physically strong, even with his powers weakened. He held off the few remaining humans while I freed Sebastian. Unfortunately, my twin was the weakest due to their experiments. He could barely stand. I dragged my brother behind me as we headed towards... I love it how he just left Brandon there. He was like, screw you, bye. I hate pet names. I just assume they forgot my... That's funny. I like that. You like pet names? Yeah, I think like you need to know the person and then like sort of gauge it, you know? I hate pet names. I just assume they forgot my name. Who else are you seeing? Oh my gosh. That's so good though. I remember watching a YouTube video on what is it? The one however many day fiance or something, and one of them only referred to the guy with pet names, and then like the interviewer was like, has she ever said anything to you with your name? And he was like the realization hit him that she was probably saying the exact same thing but to like multiple different men. My dove or my heart, cute things like that, not buttercup or little chick. I've never heard of little chick before. There was little chick one from another indie? Oh, that's funny. To be fair, I do refer to things I like as sweets. I can't help it. It just like if I like something, that comes out. So I call my boyfriend Bertie and Chappie. I'll sometimes refer to them as that. And very rarely, occasionally, my best friend. And when I do, I go, huh, you should be very grateful that I refer to you as that. Oh dear. I dragged my brother behind me as we headed towards the door. Julian kept the few brave humans away. What about Brandon? Screw him. We need to get the hell out of here. He's so annoyed. Behind us, I could hear Brandon shouting, but his voice was muffled through the glass and he was still bound. We rushed to the door across the room with Julian leading as I dragged my brother along. Julian shoved the door open and immediately crashed into Victor. He should have let Brandon out as well, because it's like, of course, extra manpower. Yeah, the one with that princess you played on here. Gosh, it's been so long since I played an Otome on here. I can't remember. The only names you get called by me is when I am mad at you and they... Alright, sweetheart. Oh, that's so cute of you, honey. Oh god, they're good when you want to be patronizing, I suppose. My boyfriend calls me by Sandra's S9. It's a real treat and a different feeling when I read Eli's calling me a pet name. Cassandra, I see, it's like refreshing. I see what you mean. I used to like Baby Girl until the flipping movie 365 Days ruined it. Yeah, no one's ever called me by a pet name. I don't think it's as common in the UK that I know of.
There's no escape.
Ugh, really? I leave the room for 5 minutes. Julian took a swing at Victor, but his fist froze in the air, and then with a flick of Victor's wrist, all three of us went flying backwards. We were back in the pods and unconscious again a few minutes later. Victor has magic powers? Yep, I wasn't expecting a human to have that. It's all my fault. I was an idiot. I'd have to dig into that later. Alexander was clearly as baffled by it as I was. Why is it your fault?
Obviously.
Isn't it obvious? I left Brandon in the pod. That doesn't mean anything would have changed. Right, you don't remember who Brandon is. Remember? I've never met him. He must have misspoken. Who is he? Oh, he'll be happy to tell you himself. You told me to stay away from him.
How cute.
You don't seem like the kind of girl who does as you're told. I couldn't help but chuckle. Alexander shook his head. Such a shame. Anyway, Brandon was probably our best chance out of there, and I wanted to leave him behind because I was angry. Well, I can't judge you for that. I don't think I could forgive someone who nearly killed me either. He raised a curious brow at me. I frowned. What? Alexander shook his head, refusing to answer. Next time I woke up, here we were. I see. Can I ask more about your gem? Who created it? How does it work? How was it implanted without rejection? Pass. I frowned. I needed those questions answered. I haven't passed on a single question. I don't ask questions I know you'll pass on. You laid out your rules. Then what are your rules? I won't answer anything that might give Victor more knowledge or power. This isn't about Victor. It's about all of humanity with the... You seem to forget I am a prisoner here. I also do not give a crap about humanity. Why should I help you, I can recognize the demand for bribery when it slapped me in the face. What do you want? My freedom.
Let's see.
You know I can't give you that. I beg to differ. All I need is for that fancy little door to open. I can handle everything else from there. You want to know about my world, this gem, or the monsters under your bed?
Let's have some fun.
I can do a lot better than tell you. I can take you with me. I can show you worlds you can't even imagine. You could also rip my heart out of my chest and I'm guessing destroy this entire city and everyone in it. I expected him to either laugh or snap back with a witty remark, but instead he looked strangely sad. Do you really think that I would hurt you? You said yourself you're a prisoner and you don't give a crap about humanity. He looked away again. I slowly made my way over towards the sofa as we talked, although I had not dared to join him as a precaution for my safety. Really? Don't British people say love and darling? Not the people I know. Like, no one around me says things like that. Maybe babe. Maybe. But, yeah, no one in my circle would really, like, yeah. I don't know. Maybe love is a very northern thing. See you, Beach. I gotta go. Okay, Lenny. Well, thank you for coming by and hopefully I'll see you again. See ya. This time I followed his gaze and realized he wasn't staring off into space. He looked through the window directly at his twin brother's door where Sebastian stood watching. Alexander smiled and I wasn't sure if it was real or forced. You'd be rescuing me. What kind of horrible person would hurt his savior? Do you miss your brother? Yes. The answer was instant and I could hear the pain in his voice. If I could arrange for you to spend some time with him, would you answer my questions? No, you don't understand how dangerous Victor is. Alexander.
You're safe with me.
I meant what I said. I won't hurt you. I'll take you anywhere you want to go and tell you anything you want to know. That offer doesn't expire while I'm in here. I sighed, frustrated, searching desperately for a way to continue the conversation. Maybe if I played along? Why should I trust you? Fair question. He turned his head and looked directly at me with narrowed eyes. I saw a faint flicker of light form around him.
Come here.
Come here and sit down. I was about to refuse, but before I could speak, a strange warmth washed over me, and suddenly I desperately needed to sit down. My feet were moving forward, and my butt was on the sofa before I realized what was happening. I was there only for 2 seconds before my senses snapped back, and I scrambled away from him. What the hell? If I wanted to hurt you, you'd already be dead. I wasn't quite sure how true that might be, although I couldn't defend myself in that moment. The security guard was monitoring the cameras, but would he be able to react quickly enough? You can mind control? Humans. It's not exactly mind control though. It's more like manipulating your emotions, urges, motivations, senses, things like that to encourage you to do what I want. And that is different from mind control how? Technicalities mostly. I can't change your thoughts, beliefs, or personality. It's difficult to force a human to do something they are strongly opposed to doing. It's difficult meant it was possible. Hey Awa, welcome! Can Sebastian? No, luckily for you, Sebastian's powers are completely different. Oh wait, luckily, why? He paused, glanced back at the door, then sighed. There's no point in trying to hide it. He obviously can't. He's scratching at that window like a lost puppy and you'll talk to him eventually. May I just say, our war games, I'm not gonna lie, I love the CG. So, you know the CGs that show like the prisoners, like the love interest behind the glass? I loved Sebastian's because like the others, they looked so stressed, and then you had Sebastian where he looked so happy to see you. It was just perfection. I loved it. Welcome back, Adavani. There's no point in trying to hide it. He obviously can't. He's scratching at that door, that window like a lost puppy, and you'll talk to him eventually.
Sebastian loves you.
Sebastian is in love with you. That's why we're always on your side. He loves you and I would never hurt my brother. That pause was suspiciously long. That's absurd. What do you mean he loves me? I've never spoken to him. You'll see for yourself it's true. I looked through the window again. Was that why Sebastian had been smiling constantly? He was even smiling now. It was creepy. Bless him. So you're suggesting Sebastian would mind control me into loving him if he had your powers? I told you, I can't change your beliefs. I could have you sleep with him, sure, but I can't force you to love him. Not sure he'd be able to resist the temptation, though. He glared at the panic that must have been obvious on my face. I took a few nervous steps backwards. We love a love-drunk love interest. It's just so funny. Sebastian wants your love. The ... is a bonus. Don't twist it up. You just said he'd find some weird way to convince himself it would make you love him. Oh, once we're together, once she embraces her true desires, then she'll understand. He's not exactly rational about his feelings. Yeah, I don't care about the why. That's still rape. The cameraman will shock you if... Monika, just because I can doesn't mean I will. It's no different for humans. What the hell, Alexander? Should I be expecting Sebastian to rape me by force then? Stop twisting my... No, my big stupid mouth. You don't get it. I'm trying to say that if Sebastian could force you to surrender to your animalistic desires as I can, he would believe that meant deep down inside you wanted. He trailed off, uncertain how to continue for a moment. There's no way to make that not sound insane. What the hell am I thinking?
Oh, don't be dramatic.
Look, his mind works differently, but the point is that he can't. He doesn't have my powers, and no, he won't physically force you. You hating him would kill him, so chill the hell out. I was still wildly uncomfortable with this conversation, but there wasn't much point in arguing further. I'd make sure to have the zapper ready whenever I visited Sebastian. The man was clearly insane, and I wasn't sure his twin was much better. If you two are twins, why are your powers different? Alexander shrugged.
We are very different.
Why do twins have different personality and tastes? I don't know. It just is. We're all unique, special little snowflakes. What about the others? What are their powers? I don't think that's my info to share, unless you want to open that door. You could be making all this up. You haven't even spoken to Sebastian since I came into the picture. How would... Alexander tapped his head and smiled. As you've seen, the room limits my powers, but doesn't eliminate them, and he's my twin. Those things combined mean we have a connection. Also, it's kind of like turning them into puppets, but they're internally... Yeah, possibly. I think so. Oh, you can magic people to others, but can't make them... Yeah, I guess so. Because they're two different things, right? Like, that's why there's something called friends with benefits, which is completely separate from being in a relationship with someone. It's like different things. Good thing it's not the other way around. Of course, Alexander would never ever lie about anything, ever. Yeah. I'm not trusting anything he says. Take everything with a pinch of salt. The rest of this... Yeah, you did miss quite a bit. We're being introduced. So I think I can't remember when you had to go, but we enter this facility and we're supposed to discover how to extract the energy / abilities from the 4 beasties. And this is the first one we're visiting, basically. I sense his thoughts and feelings. He's devastated you're in here with me and not him. Go talk to him, you'll see for yourself. I will, eventually. But I was already dreading it. So, will you open the door? I chuckled softly and smiled at him. Have you not realised there's no handle on that door?
Nice try.
I'm well aware of how the security works here. Just because you can't open the door right this second doesn't mean you can't get that door open for me at some point. Yeah, sorry, that's not going to happen. I mean, sincerely, thank you for not raping me, but that generosity doesn't exactly fill me with warm, fuzzy feelings. He leaned his head back and sighed elaborately. After that moment of pouting, he sat back up and looked at me.
Come here.
Yeah, it's really like sci-fi and fantasy mixed together, which is pretty cool. Before I could blink, my feet were moving again. Alexander grabbed my hips and pulled me down to sit in his lap, straddling him. My mind was screaming, but my body was eagerly obedient. Oh, cute. Here we go. I guess we finally get another, an intimate CG. Oh dear. That face of hers is very suggestive, isn't it? But yeah, that is a CG. He smirked at me, pulling off my glasses and cuffing my cheek with one hand. My entire body grew warm and seemed to pulse with energy. His voice was a whisper as we spoke.
Sebastian loves you.
Sebastian loves you and we're twins.
Smart girl.
You're a smart girl. You can connect the dots. I wouldn't dare steal you from him. But if you desired us both, well, that's a different story. I don't know if you're that kind of girl, my kind of girl, but it doesn't stop a man's lust. Oh! I don't understand humans. Your daily lives are so pointless and dull. Every human wants something more to life than slaving for money and following orders, yet that's all you do. Why do you spend your life ignoring your nature and desires? Don't you crave more? Don't you yearn to surrender to your emotions, your eroticism, your pride, and that deep hunger within you for passion and true freedom?
Pleasure is the point of life.
Life is meant to be lived, Monika. It's meant to be enjoyed, experienced, and explored. We're meant to consume all of the fun, pleasure, and excitement it has to offer. And deep down, that's what every human wants. I can see inside your heart. You're no exception. He's so handsome. It's a redhead and lavender. It's so... I agree though. It's always the redhead ones. Nuke the facility from orbit while you're at... Oh my god. That's what we get for jinxing ourselves. Which kind of cheek are they talking about? Because his hand is on her thigh. I love it how you're like, I want to see her hand on her butt. That's funny. Oh dear. The entire time he spoke, the heat continued to grow and the strange tingling sensations spread through my veins. My head grew foggy and my surroundings faded from my thoughts as I lost focus. An intense pleasure was taking over every inch of my body. I felt helpless against it, yet I wanted more. And if you've been interested in the supernatural your entire life, we both know damn well that I can give you everything you've ever wanted and more. Not just by fulfilling your dreams, but in every way. I can do more than show you more than you've ever imagined. I can give you an entire life that you've never imagined. I can make you feel ways you've never thought possible. My cheeks were flushed, my heart was racing, my breathing laboured. I realised what was happening. I didn't want to surrender, yet my body craved release. He was proving his words by building a O created just from his mind. Once he knew that I understood, he smirked. Only if you want it, of course. I'm not a rapist, as we've discussed. When he removed his hand from my cheek, all those sensations instantly vanished and I was left wanting. Funny story, that was a miscommunication between me and the artist on the first draft. His other hand was on her. I see, interesting, that's funny. Oh, we missed on the cheeky butt crab. Got to hand to a man who can elicit that reaction with his pants on. And just like before, I grabbed my glasses, jumped up and ran from him in a panic. My body collided with the opposite wall and I slumped against it, panting. I'd failed to consider the physical effects and my legs were shaking. I could barely stand. What the hell? Alexander leaned back against the couch and grinned with a slight tilt of his head. He's very proud of himself, isn't he? As I said, the offer stands. Give it some thought, Monika. I was too shaken to think coherently. I needed to escape. I needed to get away from him. I grabbed my cupboard off the ground, not even realizing I dropped it when he'd clipboard, sorry. I dropped it when he'd taken control and nearly sprinted to the door. It buzzed quietly, then clicked and slowly slid open. I squeezed through urgently and yanked it closed behind me. Ah, she's too nice. This is where you're supposed to buzz him as punishment. Oh God, security saw all of that. A blush of embarrassment burned on my cheeks along with a weird mix of anger. My eyes slowly drifted over to the large red button onto the side of Alexander's door, and for a very long, unethical amount of time I considered pressing it. It's punishment! He shouldn't have done that. I would press it personally. Loki, you want to smack that cheek. Oh, a buzzing would smack that cheeky grin off of his face. Quinn said each button would trigger the shock of its respective room, just like my handheld device. I muttered a curse as I felt for the zapper in my pocket to ensure I hadn't lost it. But what damn good did it do me when I could be mind-controlled? As I struggled to collect myself, I skimmed the rooms again. Brandon now sat in front of the campfire in his room. Julian hadn't moved from his corner. Sebastian still stared at me. Now with a mixture of anger and concern, he probably knew what Alexander did. Briefly, I reconsidered my career choice, but I shook the thought away. All of my life's work built up to this day. I was dealing with alternate realities and demons. Naturally, it would be strange, frightening, and even dangerous at times. I would not let a little mind control redirect my entire life. I steeled my resolve and straightened my clothes. I wasn't ready to deal with Sebastian. I was too shaken by Alexander. Brandon seemed calmer than before, so I decided to take the chance while he was in a better mood. I took a few moments to jot down some notes and clear my mind. I needed to be calm and rational to make progress. After scribbling some bullet points and to-do items mainly made of endless questions, I moved to Brandon's door. While ignoring Sebastian's devastated expression, oh bless him, I tapped in the code and scanned my palm. When I entered the room, there was a noticeable temperature drop. The sole light source was the grand fire in the center of the room. Brandon sat before it on the cold stone floor, eyes fixated on the dancing flames. As the shards in my vision faded again, I realized how frequent that once rare occurrence was becoming. Why was it happening so often? And why did it happen with the prisoners, Victor and Quinn, but not Gabriella or Isabella? When he remained still and silent, I crossed the frigid cave and settled on the other side of the fat fire, hoping the friendly gesture might coax him into conversation. When his gaze finally met mine, I was taken aback by his anxious expression.
Sorry.
Oh, interesting. In the main game, he's much more cocky than this. I'm sorry. An apology was the last thing I expected. How could he have wronged me when we'd never spoken? His sorrowful eyes returned to the flickering flames, leaving me puzzled. Why do I have a feeling Alexander hates Sevi and wants to break us to break Sevi? Oh my god. Yeah, that would be so much drama. So Alexander offers MC magical. I do not trust him one bit. For what? Everything. I've ruined everything. What did you do? His gaze snapped back to me with obvious confusion. There was an uncomfortable pause. I sensed he expected me to continue, to clarify or correct myself, but I remained silent. I didn't know what else to say. Why are they both acting like they know me? My first minutes with Alexander replayed in my mind as Brandon observed me without a word, gears spinning in his head with thoughts I could not predict. The fire crackling was all I heard, which made the cave feel eerie. Such a sound would normally be accompanied by wind, owls, and crickets. As I waited, suddenly one moment in particular with Alexander stood out among the others I overlooked. You need to leave. I don't know what the hell is going on or how Victor found you, but you're in danger. How Victor found me? What the hell does that mean?
Why?
Why did you visit Alexander first? Oh, is this jealousy, I wonder? Brandon's sudden and seemingly random question interrupted my thoughts. Well, I guess because he seemed the calmest. Again, I saw nothing but complete and utter bafflement from my response. Calmest? Of all of us, he's the last one you have any reason. Monika, what the hell is going on? Reason? Reason for what? I'm just here to talk. About? I'd hoped playing along with his confession would have given me some clues, but the attempt was over before it began. I didn't know enough to feel comfortable lying. Trying to would only backfire. I needed them to trust me. Anything? I just want to learn about you and the others. Where you're from, what you can do. Alexander filled me in on some of the basics. I know you're from a dimension called Nether, a place that sounds rough. To learn? Meaning you don't know anything about Nether or us? That's right. I'm a research scientist. I only know what Alexander said, but he didn't go into much detail.
A scientist, huh?
Brandon laughed. It was a quiet and dry laugh. Is the universe mocking me? You don't... He cut himself off, rethinking his choice of words. I don't what? No, you don't know anything? No one in the human world knows anything about that place. Could you tell me about it? Brandon's gaze returned to the roaring fire and watched it in contemplative silence. I noticed his finger tapping slowly against his knee. I waited until the silence grew too awkward. Alexander told me that you hurt him. Would you tell me what happened? Wish me luck with my dermatology appointment. Oh, you got dermatology. Ugh, I kind of want an appointment with a dermatologist because I've got this weird thing happening to my right ankle. And I don't know what it is. It's a bit scary, to be honest. Alex still loves his twin that hasn't... Oh, that's sweet. Between the twins, same as the first game. Keiki hasn't played the first game yet, but it's... I think... Yeah, Alexander's love towards Seb is actually quite genuine, I would say. But his actions are sometimes questionable, as you discover in Sebastian's route. Some of them are very, very good, I would say. To the extent you're like, oh, I want him as a love interest. Like, I think he's in the DLC. Don't be scared. Adamani English NHS system. I've already been. They gave me antibiotics and a topical, like, antifungal just in case. They're not. They don't know what it is, so they're like, just throw antibiotics at me, and I'm like taking them. Nothing's happening, but I've got to take all of them because if I were to go now, they'd go, oh, but you haven't finished your course, so we don't know what will happen. They'll do everything to gatekeep patients from seeing the specialist. It's quite impressive, really. If my scaredy cat self can do it, anyone can. Yeah, for me it's not the scared, it's more like I literally can't. I have to go through this like system of like going to the GP and then doing what they want you to do, and then like by the time they check it out, your leg is basically dropping off. I shouldn't laugh, but it's the only way I can make myself feel better. Dark humor. Do you know who I am, Monika? No, they just looked at it and went, oh, that's strange. No, I'm sorry. I don't know anything about you outside of what's in your file. His gaze shifted back to me and there was an odd smile on his lips. I'm the king of Nether. Look at his little smirk. King? Oh, wow. Should I call you your highness or something? He snorted. Hell no, that would be weird. I've heard humans call me by many names. Satan, Pishacha, Asmodeus, Monster, Demon, Diablo. At least those make sense. Your highness feels childish. Alright. I guess I'll stick with Brandon then. You really don't know anything? Should I? I was growing annoyed by that question. What did he expect me to know? He fell quiet again as he considered for a bit. His tapping finger continued. A nervous habit, perhaps?
You need to know.
I see no harm in discussing my kingdom, Nether. You need to know the kind of place it is to understand me. It's a world in an endless state of war. It's filled to the brim with monsters and nightmares, literally and figuratively. You'd probably call it hell if you were there, not in a religious sense. It's not mortal souls of the damned being punished. But it probably would feel that way to humans. Everyone there is vicious and selfish and cruel. There's no sunshine and rainbows and laughter, only fire and power and pain. Although to be fair, it is a beautiful land if you can look past all the rotting corpses. You get used to them eventually. Sounds so casual. Being the king of such a turbulent place must be challenging. His smile was genuinely happy for the first time. Understatement of the century. Our society does not resemble the human monarchy system. I wasn't born a prince. I fought my way there. They have Satan in a cell. Yeah. I'm sorry, yeah, no. The British health system, I guess because it's publicly funded, is pretty awful, to be honest. I paid for my throne with blood. I'm the king because I'm the most powerful monster alive. I mean, don't get me wrong, at least it's there, if you know what I mean. Like, it's good in that it is there. So if you don't have much money, you know, it's something. You don't have the concern of not, like, you know, having to worry that you have to pay for healthcare. You still get it. So it's good, but also it has its limitations, shall we say. I will buy it soon when I get paid because I love dark romance. It's, as it says, there are no happy endings in this. It must be hard to be trapped in this cell then. Silence dragged out again. Oddly, no. I found this cave strangely peaceful. Like a vacation, I suppose. Oh, why is that? For the first time in my life, I'm not looking over my shoulder to see who's waiting in line to kill me. I can think and breathe. I've done a lot of thinking in here. About what? About myself, my life, my future. It's humbling to be powerless after a lifetime of control, but also infuriating. Don't misunderstand. I am proud of my accomplishments. I wouldn't have, well, it opened doors I never anticipated. Oh, I would expect a crown to unlock endless opportunities. What kind of door did you not expect? His eyes drifted up to the ceiling. I assumed he was searching for the cameras. I hadn't been able to spot them either, but it wasn't surprising. These days, cameras could be as small as a grain of sand. The less Victor knows, the better. Again? Victor's the blocker here? Why are you afraid of Victor?
Really?
What kind of stupid question is that? He trapped the king of monsters in a cage. So it looks like to extract information from these subjects, shall we say, we need to find a way to erase their memories of anything Victor related. Otherwise they're not talking. I had to bite my lip as an amusing thought intruded. Brandon noticed immediately. What's so funny? Well, if a human could topple the king of monsters, maybe you aren't as powerful as you think. He paused, stunned by my nerve, then snickered. His tapping stopped.
Very funny.
Let me out of this cage and we can both find out. I grinned back. It was obvious I was teasing, but it was a funny premise. However he had gotten in this prison, I didn't honestly believe it was due to a lack of power. Sorry, buddy, I'd lose my job if you lost. He leaned forward, his dark smirk lit brightly by the flames between us. He was close enough to the heat to feel it burn.
My queen.
Ah, but if I win, I will make you my queen. That's a gamble worth taking. Tempting offer, but for all I know, you'd just rip my heart out when I got in your way.
Amazing.
Huh, amazing. Tasteless, hurtful, and clever. But have you asked yourself that what's preventing me from doing precisely that at this very moment? Either the zapper device in my pocket or the zapper device the cameraman holds. Oh, my beautiful queen. I guarantee this floor would be soaked in blood before either of you reached that button. Threatening my life is a great way to convince me to let you loose into the human world. It should be. Think of what we could accomplish together. Do you want to rule this planet? I can make that happen without breaking a sweat. Nothing interests me less than a life of politics. Huh, you think my life is politics? Oh, you are very confused about how a true king rules. This is Alexander from the first game. There's only two things I give a crap about in this world, and that's my happiness and my brother's happiness. I don't care what's wrong or fair or anything else. That's sweet, isn't it? His love for his brother, bless him. She was once also a subject, or got too close with one of them for her memories to wiped. I think the previous one, she was in a different world or reality, because it seems to be all about like different realities and stuff. So, but they remember her. Maybe they were dragged from. I'm not sure how it works, to be honest. They all didn't really have these powers in, well, at least so far, what I've played of the game. Because I've almost finished every ending in Sebastian's route, and I've played a couple of endings in Julian's route. That's all I've done so far. Seems to me the way you rule has people lined up to stab you in the back. That doesn't lead to a very long rule. I just end up in the grave beside you by association. Touché, my queen. Clearly, I need your brilliant mind at my side to guide me into becoming the truly kind and gracious king my people need. We shared a pleasant laugh, but I'd run out of witty retorts. He sat in the brief silence with a smile, looking at me. There aren't many who would dare poke fun at me. It's oddly refreshing. Well, I do have the advantage of you being in a cage under a gun. Not sure I'd be so confident in the world against you. That's a shame. I want you to be. I'm done playing. I want you. Be my queen. I'll give you anything you want. Meet any condition you demand. That's within my nearly limitless capabilities. Oh, good grief. Him too? I appreciate the offer, but I'm here to do a job, remember? Yes, learn about me and my kingdom. What better way to learn than to rule it? How about this? I'll consider it if you tell me about that door you mentioned. He frowned, displeased, but after a moment of consideration, sighed.
My queen.
As you wish, my queen, but only in limited detail. I won't give Victor any new ammo. Okay, I'll take what I can get. Someone important made me an irrefusable offer and gave me a gift that was absolutely priceless. This offer would have completely changed my world and my life, much in the same way my offer to you would change yours. That must have been an impressive offer to change the life of a king. Indeed it was, but the more I think about what happened, the more I wonder if it was never meant to be, because the very thing that put me in the position to receive that offer is what ruined everything. Ruined everything. That was what he'd apologized to me for. How was this related? Monika then asks, your happiness comes first, and Alexander answers, depends. Victor must know that they're all familiar with her to use her to get... I think he might be, actually, because Victor sort of pops up randomly, like, in the first game. Yeah, you kind of want to play the first game to fully, like, understand and enjoy this one, I think. It's on Steam and itch.io. The plot of the first game is completely unrelated to this one. The first one is a lot darker and more triggering. You don't need to play the first, play this one. I think, yeah, if you like dark, then you'll probably like the first one. I think... I'm wondering whether their relationships and that are what they remember? I'm not sure, like in this game. Oh wow, you're still good. Yes, I probably will stop. My throat is starting to get husky, so I'll probably stop after we've spoken to Brandon a little bit. And then everyone can play the rest of the demo if they're curious to learn more. It is late, it's 11, so. I don't understand. What thing?
Well...
My nature, I suppose. Someone else decided I wasn't worthy of the gift or the offer, and honestly, they weren't wrong. But that fact is irrelevant. It was mine, and they had no right or place to interfere. It was an obvious betrayal, so when I found out, I did what came naturally. You tried to kill them. I am pleased you understand. And the one who made the offer wasn't happy about that? Correct again. Were they surprised that you hurt that person? He paused, gaze drifting away, and thought, that is an interesting question. I do not have the answer. I guess they must have been. It doesn't seem like an unusual reaction for you. Quite true. I'm guessing it was Alexander who betrayed you. No, Alexander merely got in my way. You ripped out his heart because he got in your way? That's extreme. Ripping out a man's heart is as easy for me as breaking a fingernail is for you. It was a reaction, instinct, survival. Hesitation and doubt would have killed me 1,000,000 times over while I was clawing my way to the top. None of the characters remember anything from... Oh, okay, so it's completely separated. Let's feed Peach. And Victor is a much bigger character in this game. Ah. Is Victor a love interest in the first one? I have seen a little shadow on one of the tabs. Ah, so maybe that's what they disliked. They couldn't trust you to control yourself in bad situations.
Perhaps.
Perhaps you are right. But if that is so, then it was never meant to be. If I wasn't the person I am, I would have failed to earn my crown. And without my crown, no offer. The world is truly cruel. Is it? You still have the crown. That's a life most would only dream of. His frown was filled with sadness. I guess this is more like a fan disc then, as opposed to a sequel. He has a root, but he's not... Oh, okay. So he's like the truth root, basically. Interesting. Okay, so we get him as an love interest here. That's good. Because he is intriguing. Yes, it was the life I always wanted. The life I fought so hard for. But that lost opportunity devastated me, and that person abandoned me. That brief moment of weakness triggered those around me to pounce and tried to rip my crown from my hands. Well, if you hadn't succeeded in defending it, you wouldn't be alive now, right? A reasonable assumption, but that war was interrupted when I was ripped from my homeland, thrown into the human realm, and eventually ended up in here. I have no idea who holds my crown right now. Oh, that's unfortunate timing. It's fine, I'll take it back when I return home. It'll be easier the second time around. I've already killed the strongest competitors after all. That's a positive attitude. Well, not entirely, because if it wasn't for that offer, it's unlikely I'd be in this cage. That combined with the fact it was doomed to be revoked really annoys me. How did you end up here? How did Victor...
Great question.
I'd like to know the answer to that myself. I became capable of realm travel a long time ago, but the human realm is so weak and boring. I had no reason to come here, plus, I had my own goal to pursue. Despite even my great power, those who are not born with the ability to find realm travel taxing, to say the least. Quite frankly, I doubt a human would survive it. So when you were pulled from your realm, yes, everyone except Julian was weakened, but that in and of itself is not enough for a mere human to capture us. Victor has something or someone helping him. You three were weakened, but not Julian? Julian was born with the ability. How he was kidnapped is unfathomable. Oh, okay, so it does tie in the end. By the way, you're nowhere near the end of the demo. You could do a second playthrough. You get to talk to Julian, Sebastian, and then Alexander. Oh, okay. Oh my god, okay. Yeah, the only reason I was thinking of stopping here and like letting other people to explore the demo maybe is just purely because I've got another one that I need to do. So yeah, I probably will have to stop this and then sort of prioritize the other one. It depends on how much time I've got as well, to be honest. But yeah, I do like this game. Honestly, if I had all the time in the world, I would, you know, stream all the indie otome games that are available out there, but I have to think about it. This demo is really long though. That's really good in that it's a treat for anyone who wants to, because it's free, if you know what I mean. Like, I think that's good. I'll look into that. I would love to know. Well, I can only share the answer if it doesn't endanger anyone.
My bride.
Yeah, exactly. I can come back to it whenever that would work better. Yeah, it's honestly because I'm working on my book, so I don't have as much time as I used to sort of stream indies, and also because I'm focusing more on my Twitch. I guess I could stream this on Twitch and then export it onto YouTube. That's something to consider as well. It's difficult to juggle because I've got people on my YouTube that only come to my YouTube streams. But because I stream more regularly on Twitch, but like obviously not everyone has a Twitch account, so I have to like juggle, but it doesn't help with sort of, what do you call it? It doesn't help with reach if I'm dividing my attention between the two. So far it looks really good. I know, right? And you should, I know it's on your wish list and you're thinking of buying it, Keiki. I do recommend you buy the first one. It's so good. Like it's so messed up, and as you know, I love messed up. Surely my bride will not keep secrets from her king. There's no ring on my finger. You'll have to open that door so I can get you one. Sounds like a you problem. Ouch, shall I call you my queen of fire since you burned me so? Again we shared a laugh, and again it trailed off with him smiling at me. I assume you'll speak to them all. I expect every one of them will try to scare you away from me.
I will protect you.
I am not a good man, nor will I pretend to be, but those I care for, those loyal to me, I protect them with my life. And for my woman, I would love her with a blinding passion. After all, what's a king have left to do beside please his woman? Holy, he's serious, both of them, and Sebastian? Oh, how please don't tell me Julian too. She's so popular. I'm
no angel.
I'm not a savage, Monika. I want you to understand that. I don't murder puppies and drink virgin blood. I don't wipe out villages to get off. Poofed. Okay. Oh, well, you need to make Crispy a love interest. He's so... Bless him. I think Keiki feels the same way. Hi, Hika, welcome. I don't know if is that an option? I don't know how to do it, and I'm not very techie. That would work really nicely, though. Girlies who love messed up stories stay together. Oh, for those who are curious about my Twitch, which is where I, like, honestly, that's where I stream most of my time. Oh, it's not here. Okay, let me quickly... There we go. Crispy's so cute in this one. That's my Twitch for anyone who wants to join and like follow me, because as I said, that's where I try my best to stream at least 3 times a week. I don't always, you know, manage to do that, but I do try. I know some of you may have to make a Twitch account, I don't know. But it'll be worth it. I love hanging out with people on there. Brandon was heartless in the previous reality, but he wasn't a mass murderer. Was that because he wouldn't do that, or because he never had a reason to? Crispy, just shush. Their relationship, I love it. We love dumb and simply-headed characters. I love it so much. And oh my god, Josh. Oh yeah, Josh is your, you know, Josh is your type, isn't he, Keiki? Oh, he has it. What if? There you go, Keiki. You get a little bit of fun. This guy is particularly handsome. I love purple. Yeah, he's in the main game. He's the main character's brother, and yet he has a root. Now you know why I love this game. It's the most disgustingly worst trope ever, and I am not ashamed to say that I love it. I have honor, reason, and sense. I am capable of compassion, love, and respect. I'm sure it's hard to imagine, but it is true. I cherish and protect what is mine. I don't doubt your words, but there's a fundamental difference in our cultures. Maybe you are unaware. Women aren't property here, and I will not be owned by anyone. I expected mocking laughter or a witty retort, but to my surprise, his eyes widened and he grinned. Oh, you get a CG with him as well. I think is it just me or the CGs on this have improved? I think. I could be wrong. Like, I feel like the symmetry is a bit more accurate and it's like more detailed. Not that I had any issues with the first one, you know, I was quite happy with that, but Josh is Brandon's loyal mafia bodyguard. Oh, he is? You have new artists. Oh, okay. I see. Because this one actually looks very, like, professional. Which, by the way, I really appreciated that you put the name of the artists underneath the CG, like, in the gallery for the first game. I noticed that, like, a couple of days ago. And I thought that's really nice because, obviously, like, it gives artists that extra, like, promotion almost. And it's funny because Lavendel's the one that drew me my profile picture, so I got really excited. I was like, oh my god, I know her. I was about to question his reaction when suddenly he blinked out of existence and teleported to sit right beside me. I tensed as he placed his hand on my thigh and leaned in. Thankfully, he sensed my anxiety and pushed it no further. Your ferocity is such a turn-on. That's exactly what I want you to say. Exactly how I need you to think. I want to spend my nights convincing you that you want to be mine. Your nights? Unless you want my days as well. I thought you'd prefer some rest between ravagings. Ravagings? Oh, okay, so they include this gallery too. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm happy that you did that. That made me happy. His grin widened as my face reddened. I would show you what you have to look forward to right now, but I prefer my bedroom's activities remain private. Make it easy for us both and give yourself to me. I spent my life clawing my way up every level of hell to get what I wanted, and now I want you. We both know I won't fail. I shook my head and stood up, walking away from him. His grin immediately turned into a scowl.
Why?
Why do you refuse me? Why? I don't know you. I certainly don't trust you. You'll say anything to escape. You're trying to manipulate me and it insults my intelligence that you expect me to fall for it. The words blurted out of my mouth before I could stop them. Brandon leaned back and sighed.
Be careful who you trust.
There's no one else here you can trust, Monika. I scoffed and that merely deepened his scowl. Oh, you don't believe that? Let me list out all the things you should consider then. Victor, how am I here? How did he capture me? Alone, a mortal man? Nonsense. And Quinn, I'm sure they're out there somewhere, hovering around you like a gnat. Did Quinn tell you why they're here? Why they work with Victor?
He's manipulating you.
Alexander, did he tell you why he was involved in the first place? How he ended up in front of my fist, especially given how useless his abilities are in Nether? And then you'll speak to Julian and Sebastian. Will Julian tell you what he did? Will Sebastian tell you what he was after?
He's no better than me.
He'll make some wild claims about how much and how deeply he loves you, how you two are meant to be, but he's no better than me. He wants everything I had, all that power and control.
So naive.
No, you can't trust any of them. My naive little queen. I'm the only one that will tell you the truth. I am proud of who I am. I don't pretend to be something I'm not to get what I want. I earn it one way or another. Is that supposed to comfort me? It sounds more like a threat. It's merely my vow to you. A vow to owe me like a prize? I bet you can't even say the word.
I love you.
Say what? That I love you? I love you. That seemed obvious to me, but if the words themselves are important to you, then I'll say them until you're sick of them. I love you, Monika. What? I shook my head and started to walk towards the door. This had surpassed my threshold for absurdity, but Brandon again teleported in front of me, blocking my path. What are you afraid of? What makes you hesitate? Look at that smug little face. Because he always gets what he wants. My need to play hard to get towards Brandon. I know, right, Keiki? I know. You just want to resist. I already answered that. I don't know you, and I sure as hell don't trust you. Do you even have marriage in your world?
Anything for you.
At the moment, no. But I am the king. I will make it happen. Or I'll marry you in this realm if you prefer. Or both. All you have to do is tell me what you want. Now that we were away from the fire, the cold started to get to me. My eyes skimmed around the cave, having forgotten my surroundings during the insane conversation. Alexander said those rooms reflect your inner personalities. Yours is cold and empty. Empty? He gestured towards the fire.
You dear, stupid girl.
The cave is a mere container for the roaring fire within. Fire is my personality. Is he completely unhinged?
Fire commands respect as much as it deserves worship.
I snorted at the absurdity. He ignored me. But fire symbolizes many concepts. It keeps us warm, cooks our food, and provides us with light. Fire is passion, love, hate, hope, and destruction. Its mere existence is critical to life itself. Fire is a beautiful and powerful thing that is dangerous to underestimate. Which one of those do you think symbolizes me, my queen? Because I think almost all of them do. And I think they also describe you quite well. You are insane. As I said, I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I guess that was an agreement, and I had to admit he had a point. I did appreciate knowing I was dealing with a lunatic. He grinned at me and finally stepped out of my path. Go ahead, talk to the others. You'll see I'm right. I promise I won't hold this doubt against you once you return to accept my offer. How generous. I hurried towards the door, but when I reached it, it didn't open. I hesitated, then turned back to Brandon. They won't open it until you move back.
Is that so?
Oh, is that so? It was obvious he knew that and was making a point. He smiled, bowed with exaggeration, then returned to the campfire. The door finally buzzed open and I scurried out, wondering why it mattered where Brandon stood given he could teleport. Maybe his distance was limited due to the power suppression. I also forgot to ask him what all his powers were, but I couldn't handle any more of him. He would only be tolerable in small doses. But it was a relief that nothing happened like my visit with Alexander. Yeah, that was a bit of coercion in Alexander's room. I'm feeling a lot of déjà vu. It seems fire is part of Brandon's core beliefs, perhaps akin to a religion of sorts. Sebastian was still standing at his window, watching as I closed the door behind me. It was starting to irritate me, but I ignored him again. I leaned against the wall, out of Brandon's line of sight, and once again tried to calm my nerves and made sense of everything. His claims replayed in my mind repeatedly, but still little connected. Sebastian watched me, only moving to press his palm against the glass as if it would tempt me towards him. I gritted my teeth and massaged my temple to stave off the looming headache. Why did both Alexander and Brandon seem to know me at first, then immediately clam up when they realized I didn't know them? The only idea that popped into my mind was the possibility of a doppelganger of me in their realm. Was that a thing? Were there doppelgangers of these boys in the human realm out there? Could our realms be mirrors of each other? It seemed like the bad plot of a low-budget science fiction movie. But why wouldn't they just say that? Was that duplicate of me in the human realm? Was that the person Victor was looking for? Were they afraid Victor would find her? Did Victor think I was her? The idea seemed both ridiculous and plausible. What other explanation was there? It wasn't like I woke up from a coma 2 years ago with amnesia. I remembered my life clearly, as did my mother, whom I'd spoken to less than a week ago, and my sister who was on her way, here. And why the hell did they claim to love me? Was it a manipulation tactic? Were they under some sort of spell Victor conjured? Was Victor capable of magic? How did he capture them in the first place? Oh, so many questions! These promises are too pretty, I'd fall for it. My queen! Cassie, I love that. I know what you mean though. It's very tempting. Brandon, the amount of yapping will make me give in to you. For those unaware, Brandon has a thing for fire and obsession. Oh, okay, I guess I'll find out when I play it. Was this all just some elaborate and insane joke? Were they intentionally conspiring to drive me insane? Everything about this situation was absurd. A part of me wanted to storm over to Victor's office and demand answers, but the more information I could pull from these prisoners, the better prepared I would be to confront Victor. Why waste my time jumping back and forth with new versions of stories repeatedly? I truly didn't know who to trust right now. Because of Brandon, I even doubted Quinn. Was this a part of their power? Were they playing with my mind, making me question my own reality? Victor warned me they were capable of that. Why should I trust them over Victor? Was I being ridiculous to even consider their claims? Will Julian tell you what he did? Only Julian has that ability. I took the time to reassess the limited information I considered likely to be factual. I started writing on my clipboard to filter my thoughts. They were all from a dimension they called Nether, a place full of power-hungry demons constantly at war. Is it bad that I'm like, I wonder if they're all attractive demons? Oh god. Brandon became the king through a violent coup. 2 years ago, apparently right after he achieved that title, although I have no idea if time worked the same between our dimensions, there was some conflict around this mysterious offer. Was it a fifth person who made the offer? It must have been. Whatever the offer, Brandon screwed it up. Alexander almost died, but was somehow saved by the gem in his chest, source unknown. A gem that Isabella said Victor also had. The obvious dots clicked into place. Wait. That must be how Victor had magic. That makes sense. If a stone keeps Alexander alive, it must have magic. That must be how he thwarted their escape attempt. Where did he get in? And when? Some indeterminable amount of time after the offer conflict and Alexander's attempted murder, Victor somehow kidnapped them all from their dimension. How did he access that dimension? How did he know it existed in the first place? That was all the story I had gathered thus far. There were so many holes and questions. What else was there that could be relevant? Julian could freely travel to the human realm somehow, and maybe had done something bad. The other three would struggle with realm teleportation. Alexander's powers are supposedly useless in their realm, probably because they only worked on humans. You can mind control? Humans. It's not exactly mind control though. Quinn may be hiding something from me, although given the fact I'd seen them shouting at Victor, I didn't believe they were conspiring together. Alex thought I could trust Quinn, but Brandon disagreed. Victor might have secrets and maybe even an accomplice, and much more knowledge about these men than he'd recorded in their files. But at the same time, I couldn't ignore the possible validity of Victor's initial warning. These subjects were prisoners. They would do anything to gain their freedom, including manipulating me. Victor did say they had powers that could mess with my mind. Alexander confirmed that possibility. Were they doing something to make me buy this story? Was their claims of love just a factor to confuse me further and distract me? Could Brandon read my mind and follow up on the details Alexander had given? That seemed more likely than not. Get your stuff together, Monika. I wonder if Vanessa could help me make sense of all this. She would be here soon, and I decided I would immediately tell her everything. Security clearance be damned. She was my sister, someone I knew without a doubt I could trust with my life. She'd stood at my side when everyone else thought I was crazy. I'd never taken that fact for granted, and I supported her every chance I'd gotten in return. I grumbled at myself for letting my emotions and confusion get the better of me. That was not going to serve me well in this career path. I needed to trust what I saw with my own eyes, not fairy tales told by magical prisoners. I felt foolish. When I looked up again, Sebastian was still watching me, looking worried. I muttered a curse under my breath and turned to Julian's door. I was still not ready to deal with Sebastian. I love it how it's immediately, get out. Oh, that's funny. But I think I will leave it there. I may stream the second half at some point. On Twitch maybe, but for the time being it gives you a chance to maybe try out the demo yourself. You can always force skip up until this point and play the rest yourself if you're like, oh my god, I need to know. Oh, Katja, subscribe too, thank you. But yeah, again, remember guys that I do stream on Twitch a lot more now, which I am putting down here. also the link to the first one. Let's see. So where is it? I think Steam. You need to log in to see the content though, just so you know, because it's supposed to be what do you call it? It is an R18 game unless you like turn all the settings and things. That's the itch.io website. But yeah, no, that was good, wasn't it? I do kind of miss the Otome game streams. It's just so busy, and I had been, and I still kind of am on a break from YouTube. So, but anyway, thank you guys for coming along. It was lots of fun. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy these or like my usual videos. I appreciate it. And yeah, again, thank you, and hopefully I will see you again. Bye.